Chapter 2455, 3-Star Great Emperor. 3-Star Great Emperor Xian Yanking's eyes flashed with a complicated look. A voice entered Xian Yanjin's ears. Xian Yanjuan, I'll leave that matter to you. Don't worry, I'll definitely complete that task. Xian Yanjuan also sent a message to Xian Yanqing. After hearing this, Xian Yanqing smiled slightly, and then her delicate body suddenly trembled. Boom! At this moment, a powerful aura emanated from Xian Yanking's body. Then she sat cross-legged and a black lotus appeared, enveloping her. Mother, Lu Shenhuang was shocked. Lu Ming's figure flickered and he also came close. Don't worry, your mother has succeeded. The memories of this life have completely taken the initiative. She has devoured the memories of her previous life and is about to make a breakthrough. Xian Yanjuan smiled. Lu Ming was overjoyed too. It seemed that Xian Yanqing had finally succeeded. Lu Ming glanced at Xian Yanjuan again. In his eyes, Xian Yanjuan was becoming more and more unfathomable. Due to the conflict between the two memories, Xian Yanking's cultivation was far behind Xian Yanjin's. Even Lu Ming could not tell what Xian Yanjin's cultivation level was. Who exactly were Shao Qing and Xian Yanjuan in their past lives? Lu Ming pondered. He had a feeling that the two of them must have had very shocking backgrounds in their previous lives. However, he was already at the peak of the heavenly emperor realm. He had even met the ancestral dragon and the non-human divine ancestor, but he still couldn't figure out Xian Yanjuan. He had asked Xian Yanqing this question before. However, Xian Yanqing shook his head and did not say much. He only said that it was not the time yet. He seemed to have some concerns and Lu Ming did not pursue the matter. Xian Yanking's aura was getting stronger and stronger. He was at the critical point of breaking through to the heavenly emperor realm. Everyone waited in the distance. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Xian Yanqing was still in the midst of his breakthrough when Lu Ming received a message from the Hengyu heavenly emperor. Outside the two-world city, the passageway that led to the primordial realm had reopened. Lu Ming was shocked. That passageway led to the primordial realm. Back then, Lu Ming had come to the heaven realm through that passageway. In the battle back then, the passageway was destroyed by the divine ninth dragon cauldron controlled by Lu Ming. Back then, evil swordsmen said that the passageway would reopen in about 100 years. Now, more than 100 years had passed, and that passage had finally reopened. Lu Ming was a little worried that the alien races would send an army to attack that passage and enter the primordial realm. Divine wilderness, wait for your mother here. I have something important to do. I will return to Two-World City first. When your mother has broken through, come find me in Two-World City. Lu Ming said. Father, be careful. Lu Shenhuang said. Lu Ming nodded. He took a step forward and the space cracked. Lu Ming entered the crack and disappeared. With Lu Ming's speed, it did not take long for him to rush back to Two-World City. After rushing back to Two-World City, he learned that the Heaven Realm had already sent some peerless experts into the ancient battlefield to guard the passage. That battlefield was very terrifying, and there were marks left by the peerless experts back then. It was dangerous even for ordinary celestial emperors to enter, and only the peerless experts could enter safely. Now, there were many strong people in the Heaven Realm. A group of great beings came from the lair of Zulong. With the great beings from the prison suppression field, there were many great beings. But this time, the alien races didn't do anything. They still focused on defense. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief when he heard the news. Now that the prison suppression field had come to the Heaven Realm, the two sides had joined forces and their strength had increased greatly. The non-human race didn't seem to want to fight them head-on. Instead, they wanted to wait for sacred ancestor Bloodheart to recover. Lu Ming was very clear about the alien race's plan. However, they had no choice. The Heaven Realm could defend, but they couldn't gather all their forces to attack the Evil God Realm and destroy the Evil God Realm before Saint Ancestor Bloodheart recovered. The only thing they could do now was to improve themselves as much as possible. The final battle would definitely come. The passageway was fine. Lu Ming made up his mind and returned to Xian Yanking's side, waiting for him to break through. A few more months passed, and Xian Yanking's aura reached its peak. Heavenly Emperor Realm. Xian Yanqing had finally broken through. Strange. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with doubt. Xian Yanqing had broken through to the Heavenly Emperor realm, but the feeling he gave off was different from the other Heavenly Emperors. Whether it was in the Heaven realm or the Evil God realm, after breaking through to the Celestial Emperor realm, no matter what cultivation system one cultivated in, they all belonged to the Heavenly Tao and involved the power of the Heavenly Tao. Of course, Lu Ming's path of domination was an exception. However, Lu Ming did not sense any aura of the Heavenly Tao from Xian Yanqing. There was only pure strength, but it gave off a terrifying feeling. Lu Shenhuang cultivated the same technique as Xian Yanqing. It did not belong to any cultivation system in the Heaven realm or the Evil God realm. Lu Ming knew that it should be Xian Yanqing's cultivation method from his previous life. Lu Ming, the Divine Wilderness. Not long after the breakthrough, Xian Yanqing retracted his aura. He opened his eyes and smiled at Lu Ming and Lu Shenhuang. "Mother, have you completely recovered?" Lu Shenhuang was overjoyed. "All right, I'm done." Xian Yanqing smiled. Then, he turned to look at Xian Yanjuan. Xian Yanjuan smiled, turned around, and disappeared in a flash. Next, the family gathered together and it was a happy and harmonious time. Lu Ming stayed there for a few more months. In these few months, Lu Ming was completely relaxed and did not spend too much time on cultivation. A few months later, they returned to the primordial realm and met up with Lu Yuntian, Li Ping, and the others. After some time, they arrived at Two World City. After that, Lu Ming planned to stay in Two World City and cultivate while fighting against the alien races. The days seemed to have become dull. Time passed quickly and it had been 20 years. After 20 years, Lu Ming had finally made another breakthrough. His cultivation level had risen to 3 stars Great Emperor. However, the amount of resources used was also shocking. This time, he used primordial chaos stones. Lu Ming had used up all 20,000 primordial chaos stones in one go. As for the raw gemstones, Lu Ming only had 30% of them left. "I'm afraid the remaining resources won't be enough for me to break through to 4-star Great Emperor." Lu Ming smiled bitterly. However, after breaking through to 3-star Great Emperor, the ruler's power in his world energy had become a bit denser, and his battle power had undoubtedly become stronger. However, his physical body had not broken through, and his 7 gods' mysterious skill was still at the early stage of the 6th level. It would take a long time for him to break through to the middle stage. On this day, Lu Ming was chatting with Xian Yanqing when he suddenly heard the sound of running water. The sound seemed to be coming from a distance. And the sound was getting louder and louder, like the waves of a big river. "What's that sound?" Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing found it very strange. They flew into the sky to watch. As soon as they flew into the sky, they were all shocked, because people were flying in the sky from all corners of Two World City. They looked in the direction outside Two World City with puzzled expressions. The voice came from outside Two World City and spread throughout the entire city. Could it be the work of a foreign race? Someone asked doubtfully. "Let's go and take a look." Many people flew toward the city walls of Two World City. Chapter 2456 Ancestral Dragons summons Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing also flew toward the city walls of Two World City. When they arrived, they realized that countless people had already gathered on the city walls. However, there was no movement outside the city wall, nor was there any sign of a foreign being. "Senior Hengyu, what's going on?" Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing saw the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor and walked over to ask. "I don't know. There's a strange noise outside Two World City. We've already sent people to check it out," Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said. Everyone waited in silence. Not long after, more than a dozen figures flew back from outside Two World City. "What's happening outside the city? Why is there the sound of a great river flowing?" Someone immediately asked. In a battlefield outside the city, the space suddenly cracked open, and a river appeared? An old man replied. "A river suddenly appeared?" Many people were puzzled. "That's right. It's a vast yellow river with water flowing out. It's extremely terrifying. A great emperor was splashed by the water and was immediately corroded to death." The old man said. "What?" Many people gasped. "What river? The river water was so terrifying that even a great emperor would be corroded to death if they were splashed by it. It looks like the legendary Yellow Spring River in the Nine Nether Heavenly Domain. The old man replied, "What? Yellow Spring River? Why would the Yellow Spring River appear on this battlefield?" It said that the Yellow Spring River has no end and flows through the heavens. Perhaps it will pass through this battlefield? But why is it overflowing? Many people were very confused. Yellow Spring River. Lu Ming was shocked. He was sure that it was the Yellow Spring River. Back then, he had gone to the 10,000 Spirit Heavenly Region by accident and entered the 9 Serenities Heavenly Region with the Archean Body Cultivators. He had used the Yellow Spring River to return to the Tai Ching Heavenly Region. He knew very well that the Yellow Spring River did pass through the battlefield outside the city. Let's go and take a look. Let's go. Many people flew out of the city and toward the source of the sound. Lu Ming, do you want to go and take a look? Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu looked at Lu Ming. All right. Lu Ming nodded. He, Xian Yanqing, the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor, and the rest immediately flew toward the source of the voice. Not long after, they arrived at a battlefield and stopped far away. In front of him, cracks appeared in the space. He could clearly see a yellow river flowing through. This river was extremely wide. It flowed through the void and no one knew where it flowed to. From time to time, yellow river water would overflow and fall on the ground, corroding the earth and creating bottomless pits. It's the Yellow Spring River, Lu Ming muttered. He had seen the netherworld before and he would not be mistaken. But why did the space suddenly crack and the Yellow Spring River water overflow? This had never been recorded before. Lu Ming was very puzzled. On the other side of the Yellow Spring River, there were also many people, all of them from the alien races. Obviously, the alien races were also alarmed and were also watching in bewilderment. Look, a mountain has appeared on the Yellow Spring River. Suddenly, someone cried out in shock. He didn't need to call for the others to see it. In front of the Yellow Spring, a huge mountain appeared in the distance. Countless people were shocked. It was said that no one knew where the end of the Yellow Spring River was, not even the Heaven Sovereign. It was extremely mysterious. It could be said to be one of the most mysterious places in the world. Lu Ming's eyes widened. When they had escaped from the 9 levels of underground to the Tai Ching Heavenly Realm on the sky-reaching battleship, they had also seen such a mountain. At that time, they had already guessed that this was the end of the Yellow Spring River. No one noticed that there was a figure in the depths of the sky. That figure was the Ancestor Dragon. Is it finally here? Moke has been waiting for this day for countless years. Is the legendary Netherworld mountain going to appear again? The ancestral dragon muttered. His eyes were filled with solemnness and anticipation. It's time to make preparations, let's go, Zulong said and left. 3 days later, a dragon's roar reverberated throughout the entire Tai Ching Heavenly Region. Even Two World City could hear it clearly. In Two World City, Lu Ming suddenly stood up. Ancestral Dragon, the voice of the Ancestral Dragon. Lu Ming was shocked. The dragon roar of the Ancestral Dragon suddenly resounded throughout the Tai Ching Heavenly Region. What was going on? What on earth happened? The dragon's roar shocked the entire Tai Ching Heavenly Region, and countless people came out of their closed-door cultivation. Then, a piece of news spread like a whirlwind throughout the Tai Ching Heavenly Region and even the primordial realm. The lair of Zulong had appeared, and the Zulong had appeared. The Ancestral Dragon was a supreme expert who surpassed the Heavenly Emperor. When the news spread, the Tai Ching Heavenly Region was in an uproar. After all, not many people in this world knew about the Ancestor Dragon. Most people didn't know about the existence of the Ancestral Dragon. Even some heavenly emperors didn't know. My God, the Ancestral Dragon, a supreme expert who has surpassed the Heavenly Emperor? There's actually such an existence in this world. I used to think that it was just a legend. My heaven realm actually has such a strong person. How lucky! I heard that there are countless experts in the lair of Zulong. We don't have to be afraid of the alien races now. The appearance of the Ancestral Dragon boosted the morale of the heaven realm. However, Lu Ming was not so optimistic. The Ancestral Dragon has suddenly appeared. Is the final battle coming? Lu Ming muttered. He had a bad feeling. Could it be that Saint Ancestor Bloodheart had already fully recovered? Impossible. How many years had it been? At this time, Zulong sent out a large number of experts to invite some people to gather at the lair of Zulong. There were many geniuses among them. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had also received the invitation. In addition, there was also the Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor, Dandan, Bubbles, Feng Ling, Long Chen, Ouyang Wushuang, and others. There were no rules. Some had high cultivation levels, while others had low cultivation levels. Lu Ming and the rest set off immediately for the lair of Zulong. A few days later, they arrived at the lair of Zulong and gathered at a huge square under the mountain where Zulong lived. The auras of so many experts. How terrifying! The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor and the others could feel the auras of the powerful beings on the mountain, and they were all shocked. After so many years, I've come here again. Dandan grinned and laughed. Dandan, did you come here often in the past? Lu Ming asked. Of course, I'm an ordinary person. Unfortunately, I've only seen you once. Dandan said. I really want to see Senior Ancestral Dragon's Grace, an unparalleled expert who has surpassed Heavenly Emperor. He's a legendary figure. Feng Ling, Long Chen, and the others were also very excited. As they chatted, more and more people arrived. Lu Ming saw many familiar faces. For example, Tian Ming, Baoda, and the 9 absolutes of the Heaven Realm, Lin Xiaofeng, Fu Lu, and others. These were all geniuses. Lu Ming also saw some powerhouses. Some were at the Great Emperor Realm and some were at the Heavenly Emperor Realm. That is, the Titanos? Lu Ming suddenly saw a burly man. Beside him was a tall and thin man. Chapter 2457. The remaining top 10 battle beasts. Back then, before Lu Ming was captured by the alien race, the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the middle-aged man had helped him. Later on, Lu Ming found out from Dandan that the middle-aged man was the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, one of the top 10 war beasts. Old Bull, 9 Lives, you're here too. Come and greet this old man. Dandan shouted at the Titan Longhorn and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm. The Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm glanced at Dandan and then stepped forward. Greetings to the 2 seniors. Feng Ling, Long Chen, and even the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor hurriedly bowed. They knew that these 2 were 2 of the top 10 war beasts, so they naturally didn't dare to slight them. Each of the top 10 battle beasts was a terrifying existence, standing at the peak of the Heavenly Emperor realm. In ancient times, other than a few unparalleled experts such as the Primal Chaos Emperor and the Undying Emperor, no one was a match for the top 10 war beasts. Of course, this was with the exception of people like Zhu Long, who had already surpassed Heavenly Emperor. The Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm nodded, indicating that there was no need to be so polite. Old Bull, aren't you guarding a void passage in the primordial realm? Why are you here? Dandan asked casually. Senior Ancestral Dragon sent someone to ask me to come. There are already people sent by Senior Ancestral Dragon to guard that place. The Titan Longhorn Beetle replied. Then it glared and said, Old Turtle, you know a lot of secrets. Do you know why the Ancestral Dragon gathered us here? It should be related to Netherworld Mountain, right? Dandan rolled her eyes and said, Netherworld Mountain? Could it be the faintly discernible mountain on the Yellow Spring River? The Titan Longhorn Beetle, 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and the others were all puzzled. It should be, but I'm not too sure about the details. Dandan frowned. What a coincidence today. At this moment, a loud laugh was heard. Following that, a golden light flashed and a burly man with messy hair appeared in the sky. Big Brother Qing Tsang. Lu Ming revealed a smile. It was the 9-headed golden lion, Qing Tsang. Old lion, so you didn't die. When it saw Qing Tsang and the Titan Longhorn Beetle, it glared at them. Nonsense, if you and Old Bull are not dead, how can I die? Qing Tsang also glared at Dandan and said, Also, if this outrageous old turtle didn't die, how could I die? Hey, what did you say? Be careful with your words. Dandan was furious, her eyes wide open. Dandan, what kind of outrageous things have you done in the past? Lu Ming asked curiously. Pfft, what do you mean by that? They're framing me. Dandan's eyes were even bigger than the Titan Longhorn. Framed? Who used to rob people's ancestral graves every day. One time, I even stole it from the undying venerable emperor and was taught a lesson by him. I almost became a roasted turtle. Qing Tsang said disdainfully. Lu Ming was suddenly enlightened. He finally understood why Dandan could not obtain the indestructible ancient scroll when it was first born. It turned out that this guy had robbed the ancestral grave of the immortal venerable emperor in the past. It was already kind of him not to kill him. This guy was indeed unreliable. Wait, what's this guy's name? Dandan? Ha! The Titan Longhorn beetle said. After it finished speaking, it began to laugh wildly. Dandan? Eggy? Ha! Qing Tsang also laughed. Even the 9 Lives devilish silkworm couldn't help but laugh. As for Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others, they wanted to laugh but didn't dare to. Their faces were red from holding back their laughter. You guys, Dandan was so angry that she was stomping her feet. Many people in the surroundings looked over. Some of them recognized Qing Tsang, the Titan Bull, and the others, and were shocked. These were all the top 10 battle beasts, the ancient era's giant crocodiles. Now, many of them were gathered together. The 9-headed golden lion, the Titan Longhorn beetle, the 9 Lives devilish silkworm, the world god turtle, and the space-time spirit rat. There were 5 of them. It had been many years since they had last seen them. This is space-time spirit mouse? So, back then, after laughing for a while, Qing Tsang looked at Bubbles and sighed. The Titan Longhorn and 9 Lives devilish silkworm stopped laughing. Their expressions were somewhat dejected. During that battle, I was captured by the alien races long ago. I wonder how the others are doing? Qing Tsang asked. The battle back then was too tragic. 9 Lives and I were seriously injured and haven't recovered for many years. The old turtle's injuries were even worse. You were captured, and only the 5 elements Qilin's injuries were better. He's been by the dragon ancestors' side all these years. As for the others, almost all of them died. The Titan Longhorn beetle sighed. The 9 dragons died in the primordial realm. The sacred spirit ant, the undying celestial phoenix, and the Archean dragonesque elephant all died. Space-time was even more miserable. Even their corpses were used by the alien races. The 9 Lives devilish silkworm sighed. Even Dandan's eyes were a little dejected. In ancient times, the top 10 war beasts were extremely glorious. Back then, there were some conflicts and grudges between them. However, after the ancient war, those grudges had long disappeared. Now, there were only a few of them left. At the side, Lu Ming also sighed secretly. The more he knew, the more he could imagine the tragic battle that year. Too many experts had died in battle. Even a sect as powerful as the Hunyuan sect was almost completely destroyed. During this period of time, Lu Ming had learned from Earth One, Thunder One, and the rest. Hunyuan sect, in ancient times, had once ruled the Hunyuan heavenly region and was extremely powerful. Hunyuan sect had 9 halls. For example, the Primal Chaos Hall was one of the 9 halls of the Hunyuan sect. There was also the Time-Space Spirit Hall, and the previous generation's Time-Space Spirit Rat was the Hall Master. The 9 Hall Masters were almost all peak heavenly emperors. However, the Primal Chaos Emperor was the leader of the 9 halls. Hunyuan sect's Grandmaster was a terrifying figure, not weaker than the Primal Chaos Emperor. Such a powerful force was also annihilated in the battle that year. The 9 Hall Masters and Hunyuan sect Master had all died in battle. Only the Primal Chaos Hall had left behind some puppets. As for the Hunyuan sect headquarters, there were no experts left behind, only the Array Spirit inside. The Array Spirit was the one who had arranged for Lu Ming and the others to take the Hunyuan sect assessment. He had already understood these matters from Earth One and the others. As the crowd chatted, thousands of people had gathered in the square. Suddenly, a light flashed from the mountain, and a few figures flew out. The one leading them was Zhu Long. There were a few people following behind the ancestral dragon, and some of them were the 5 elements Qilin. The other one had an unfathomable aura. Clearly, he was also an extremely terrifying expert. The ancestral dragon flew out and stood in the air. A supreme aura emanated from his body that even the heavenly Tao was suppressed. Although most of them had never seen the ancestral dragon before, they all knew that it was the ancestral dragon when they sensed the aura. "Greetings, senior ancestral dragon." The thousands of people all saluted respectfully. "Rise." The ancestral dragon waved his hand, and everyone felt a force lifting them up. Even a peak heavenly emperor couldn't resist. "I'm sure you're all very curious as to why I've suddenly gathered you here, right?" Zulong said. Chapter 2458. Ancient Secret, Netherworld Mountain. Everyone's spirit was shaken. Was the ancestral dragon finally going to reveal the purpose of gathering everyone? They were also very curious. "There are several aspects involved in this," Zulong muttered. "The first is the existence that surpasses the heavenly emperor realm. Many people call my realm the supreme realm or the ancestral emperor. In fact, this realm is called the martial god realm, the realm above the martial emperor." Zulong said. "The war god." Many people were shocked and their eyes lit up. It turned out that the martial god realm was above the martial supreme realm. God, so there really were gods in the world. Qing Tsang and the other peak heavenly emperors were especially excited. They were already at the peak of the heavenly emperor realm. Their next step would be to break through to the martial god realm and transcend beyond the heavenly Tao, not bound by the heavenly Tao. Everyone's imagination ran wild, and Zulong started to explain. In the ancient times, there were 4 martial gods in the heaven realm and the evil god realm. I, the owner of the prison-suppressing steel, am the ancestor of the prison-suppressing field. I am the prison-suppressing ancestor. There's also a saint ancestor of the non-human race. The last one is called Saint Ancestor Bloodheart. The 4 martial gods were divided into 2 camps. Prison-guarding Patriarch and I were good friends, while the killing heart Saint Ancestor and the non-human Saint Ancestor were on the same side. They wanted to invade the heaven realm and destroy the human race and the divine beasts. That was the start of the ancient war. Each side has 2 war gods. Everyone's heart stirred, and they perked up to listen. They knew that they were about to find out some ancient secrets. It was a brutal battle. The 4 of us fought in the dark void for 100 years. In the end, prison-guarding Patriarch and Saint Ancestor Bloodheart both died. Zulong continued. Some of the people from the prison suppression field looked sad. The divine ancestor and I were both severely injured. Even now, we haven't recovered from our injuries. We've been recuperating all these years. The outsiders are afraid of me, so they didn't dare to attack with full force. Zulong continued. Everyone came to a sudden realization. Although the outsiders were powerful as a whole, the martial god didn't have the upper hand and didn't dare to fight them head-on. This was normal. Senior Ancestral Dragon didn't say why the alien races attacked the heaven realm. At this moment, Lu Ming thought of a problem. This question had been on his mind for a long time, but since Zulong didn't say anything, he didn't ask. However, the situation has changed. Saint Ancestor Bloodheart isn't dead. The Ancestral Dragon continued. What? Other than Lu Ming and a few others, the rest were shocked and their faces were filled with shock. The sacred ancestor Bloodheart was still alive? Didn't that mean that there were 2 martial gods in the evil god realm? On their side, there was only 1 martial god. How were they going to fight? If that was the case, the heaven realm was no match for the alien races. The overall strength of the alien races was stronger than that of the heaven realm. With the addition of the 2 martial gods, the heaven realm was going to be destroyed. Some people's eyes were filled with despair. However, although Saint Ancestor Bloodheart didn't die, he was severely injured in the battle with the prison-guarding Patriarch, and only a trace of his bloodline is left. This is related to the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is Netherworld Mountain. Zulong continued. Netherworld Mountain? Many people were stunned. Yes, Yellow Spring Mountain. I believe many people have seen or heard of it. Outside the 2-world city, the space cracked open and the Yellow Spring River appeared. At the end of the river, there is a mountain. That is Yellow Spring Mountain. Netherworld Mountain, an extremely hidden place. Even I have never entered it, Zulong said. Everyone was shocked. As a martial god expert, the ancestral dragon had transcended the heavenly path and was truly invincible in the world. In everyone's hearts, he should be an omniscient figure. However, even the ancestral dragon had never been there. What kind of place was that? I've also read a few records from some extremely ancient books. Legend has it that Netherworld Mountain doesn't belong to the Heaven Realm, the Primordial Realm, or the Evil God Realm. Instead, it comes from beyond the heavens. Zulong said. Beyond the heavens? Many people were dumbfounded. Beyond the heavens? What did that mean? Could there be other worlds apart from the Primordial Realm, Heaven Realm, and Evil God Realm? Beyond the heavens? Dandan whispered, frowning as if she knew something. Beyond the heavens? Peoba muttered, her eyes filled with doubt. Bubble, what do you know? Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Bubbles. I don't know. Some images will appear in my mind, but I can't see them clearly. How was it? Lu Ming was puzzled and did not understand. Dandan glanced at Bubbles and did not say anything. Senior, what is beyond the heavens? Someone could not help but ask. Beyond the heavens? The ancestral dragon looked up at the sky and a look of reminiscence seemed to flash in his eyes. After a while, he said, That's a vast place. We'll talk about this later. Let's talk about Netherworld Mountain first. It's said that Netherworld Mountain comes from beyond the sky. It's extremely ancient and mysterious. Usually, it's covered by a layer of restriction. Even I can't enter it. However, it doesn't mean that you can't enter forever. It's said that after every 10,000 tribulations, the restriction of Netherworld Mountain will be opened once. At that time, you can enter. Everyone was even more shocked. Even the ancestral dragon couldn't enter, so who else could? Also, the Myriad Tribulation will be activated once. Myriad Tribulations, how long were those? Each tribulation was 333,333 years long, so wouldn't 10,000 tribulations be more than 3 billion years? Everyone looked at each other. According to the ancient records, Netherworld Mountain is like a world of its own and contains countless treasures. Heaven Dao soldier-grade treasures can be found anywhere, and there are even some treasures that possess heaven-defying effects. No matter how heavy one's injuries are, they can be healed very quickly. This time, Netherworld Mountain is about to open. That's why there are so many strange phenomena. The non-human divine ancestor has been waiting for this opportunity. He wants to take the sacred ancestor Bloodheart into Netherworld Mountain and obtain an opportunity. Not only will his own injuries be healed, but the sacred ancestor Bloodheart's injuries will also be healed. In that case, we'll be even more unable to resist. That's why I've gathered all of you here this time to bring you into Netherworld Mountain. Firstly, you can stop the foreign tribe. Secondly, you can also obtain opportunities. If you can obtain great opportunities inside, I'm afraid your cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. Zhu Long explained. Everyone came to a realization. So this was the reason why Zhu Long had gathered them. He would stop the alien race and then obtain the opportunity to improve his cultivation. Most of you are people with great luck. After you enter, you will have a higher chance of obtaining an opportunity. However, I have to remind you that Netherworld Mountain is very dangerous. This time, many outsiders will enter with you. That is for sure. Moreover, Netherworld Mountain is vast and boundless. According to ancient records, the area inside is unimaginably vast. I'm afraid it's no smaller than the total area of the 9 heaven domains in the heaven realm. Moreover, there are countless living beings in there, including humans and other races. They have established their own countries, and they are extremely prosperous and powerful. There are even martial god realm experts in there. Zhu Long's face was solemn as he warned. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. Chapter 2459 Departure. The ancestral dragon's words left everyone dumbfounded. The Netherworld Mountain was vast, no smaller than the 9 sky regions in the heaven realm combined. There were all kinds of creatures living in it, forming countries. There were even martial god realm experts. This was too unbelievable. Netherworld Mountain was a completely different heaven realm or evil god realm. However, there's one thing you can rest assured about. No living being in Netherworld Mountain, no matter how powerful they are, even the martial god, can never come out. It's said that the people in Netherworld Mountain have been cursed and will be trapped in the mountain forever for generations. Even the cursed creatures can't enter some places in Netherworld Mountain. Only the creatures who are not cursed can enter. So, this is our chance. The ancestral dragon continued, and all kinds of thoughts ran through everyone's mind. Therefore, although there will be great opportunities in Netherworld Mountain, it will also be very dangerous. If we go in, not only will we have to face and kill the alien tribes, but we might also have to kill the living creatures in Netherworld Mountain. Therefore, I will not force you. If you want to leave, you can leave now. The ancestral dragon's voice reverberated throughout the area, but no one left. According to the ancestral dragon, Netherworld Mountain came from beyond the sky. It was extremely mysterious and had many treasures. Even martial gods had their eyes on it. Even the ancestral dragon had never entered it. The myriad tribulation only opened once, so there must be a great opportunity. Although it would be accompanied by danger, when had there been no danger in cultivation? Even if they didn't go in, when the alien race's martial god recovered and came to the heaven realm, they would still die. It was better to go in and take a risk. Alright, since that's the case, well, go in. Zhu Long announced. They couldn't bring too many people in. Otherwise, they would be finished if the alien races attacked them. He believed that the foreign races were the same. They didn't dare to send too many people in. However, after you enter, you must remember a few things. First, after entering, if you see any outsiders, kill them. Second, try your best to find places that the creatures of Netherworld Mountain can't enter. There's a high probability of finding opportunities in those places. Third, remember to take advantage of the situation. Sometimes, you can use the power of the living beings of Netherworld Mountain to kill the alien race. If you can use the martial god realm experts of Netherworld Mountain to kill the alien race's divine ancestor and the saint ancestor Bloodheart, you can protect the heaven realm. Zhu Long warned him seriously. Everyone nodded and agreed in unison. Of course, I haven't entered it. I read these according to extremely ancient books. Since the myriad tribulations have passed, I don't know what has happened in Netherworld Mountain. Therefore, after entering, the most important thing is to adapt to the situation. Alright, Netherworld Mountain will open in a month. All of you will gather here in a month. I'm afraid it will take a long time before you can come out. If you have anything to do, make arrangements in advance. The ancestral dragon ordered. Yes. Everyone received the order and left the place. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing left the place, planning to bid farewell to Li Ping and Lu Yuntian. This trip would take quite a long time. Even the ancestral dragon said that it would take a long time, so it must really take a long time. Moreover, Lu Ming would not miss this trip. Lu Ming wanted to improve quickly. He could not cultivate step by step. It was too slow. Moreover, he needed too many resources to improve his cultivation level. The resources he had on him were simply not enough for him to improve. This trip to Netherworld Mountain might be an opportunity for him. When he returned to the Heavenly Emperor City, he bade farewell to Li Ping and Lu Yuntian, saying that they would be going into seclusion for a period of time. He asked Lu Shenhuang, Mu Wanxian, and Lu Qi to stay in the Heavenly Emperor City to accompany Li Ping and the rest. A month passed by in a hurry. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing returned to the square in the lair of Zulong. Everyone gathered again. Ancestral Dragon stood in the air and waved his hand. A small boat appeared and then quickly became bigger. This is a sky-reaching warship? No, it's not the ship that belonged to the Archean body cultivator. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. He realized that the boat Zhu Long took out was very similar to the sky-reaching battleships that the Archean body cultivators used to take out. It could float on the Yellow Spring River. The Archean body cultivators once said that the sky-reaching battleship was obtained from a historical site by their ancestors. Could it be that the treasure that can resist the Netherworld water was obtained from Netherworld Mountain? Lu Ming had a thought. This ship is called the Sky-Reaching Warship. All of you can board it. If you want to enter Netherworld Mountain, you must use this treasure to cross the Netherworld River. Zulong said. Yes. Immediately, thousands of people rose into the air and flew toward the warship. It's indeed also called a heaven-reaching warship. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. He held Xian Yanking's hand and flew to the Sky-Reaching battleship. The Sky-Reaching battleship was extremely large, and thousands of people could only occupy a small space. After everyone had entered the warship shrank rapidly and was put away by the ancestral dragon. Then, the ancestral dragon took a step forward and disappeared from the lair of Zulong. The next moment, the space outside the two-world city trembled and the ancestral dragon appeared. The speed was unbelievable. Moke! The ancestral dragon looked forward. The void in front of him shook, and another figure appeared. It was the saint ancestor of the non-human race, Ancestral dragon, this time, you'll definitely lose. Killing Heart and I will recover in Netherworld Mountain and take your head. The non-human divine ancestor Moke said coldly. Let's see who will have the last laugh. Yes, Zulong replied coldly. He took a step forward and rushed into the spatial crack. He came to the sky above the Yellow Spring River and waved his hand. The Supreme Battleship enlarged rapidly and landed on the Yellow Spring River. Zulong then landed on the deck of the Supreme Battleship. At the same time, the non-human divine ancestor had also entered the Yellow Spring. He took out a battleship similar to the Sky-Reaching battleship and also landed in the Yellow Spring River. The two warships advanced side by side, heading toward the Yellow Spring. The experts from both sides sized each other up and clashed. The first prince, Kando. On the alien warship, Lu Ming saw a few extremely talented figures on the longevity roll. The top-ranked geniuses on the longevity roll were all there. Clearly, the non-human divine ancestor had the same thought as the ancestral dragon. Choosing people to enter Netherworld Mountain wasn't based on cultivation, but on luck. Only those with stronger luck would be able to obtain fortuitous encounters and even kill their opponents. The two sides did not make a move. If they did, they would only end up with both sides suffering losses. No one had the confidence. The two battleships continued to move forward. In front of the Yellow Spring River, a huge mountain was looming, as if it was extremely far away. They had been traveling for 3 months, but they still hadn't reached the end of the Yellow Spring River. Moreover, the mountain was still in front of them, and they didn't know how far it was. Soon. At this moment, the ancestral dragon spoke, and everyone's spirit was lifted. Was he finally here? Look, that mountain is gone. Not good, there's a vortex in front. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. In front of him, the mountain had disappeared. In its place was an incomparably huge vortex. All the water of the Netherworld was flowing into that vortex. Could this be the end of the Yellow Springs? Chapter 2460. The human race of Netherworld Mountain at the end of the Yellow Spring River was a huge vortex. The huge warship looked like a tiny ant in front of the vortex. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening rumbles rang out. The current was too fast, forming a terrifying suction force that acted on the warship, trying to suck it in. Not good, let's go. Many people's expressions changed drastically. They wanted to take to the air and leave this place. The Yellow Springs water was so powerful that even a heavenly emperor would be in danger if he were to be swept into it. Those below the heavenly emperor realm would definitely die. If they were sucked into this vortex, they would be dead. Hold on. We can only enter Netherworld Mountain through this vortex. At this moment, the ancestral dragon shouted. His voice was like a bell that rang in everyone's hearts. Everyone managed to calm down. The ancestral dragon would not harm them. The Outlander race's divine ancestor managed to suppress the commotion. Boom, boom, boom. The two Sky-Reaching battleships were swept into the Yellow Springs vortex and disappeared. Lu Ming and the rest felt a terrifying pressure pressing down on them. Their surroundings were pitch black and they could not see anything at all. They could not even hear a sound. It was silent all around. While the next moment, they seemed to have passed through something, and the light around them suddenly brightened. At this moment, Lu Ming's eyes widened. He had a shocking discovery. At this moment, they were high up in the sky and not on the sky-connecting warship. They had no idea where the warship had gone. All of them, including the non-humans, were thrown down by an extremely powerful force. Even Lu Ming found it difficult to resist this power. Below them, there was a huge mountain. They were falling towards the mountain. In the beginning, the mountain didn't look very big. However, as they got closer to the mountain looked bigger and bigger. All of them had deviated from their original course and were getting further and further away from each other. Little Qing. Lu Ming saw that Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Bubbles, and the rest were getting further and further away from him. They were flying to different locations on the mountain. The speed at which they were falling was getting faster and faster because a terrifying gravitational force was coming from the mountain. What a huge mountain! The closer he got to the mountain, the more he realized how huge, terrifying, and majestic it was. From a distance, it didn't seem like much, but when they got closer, they realized that any protrusion or flat ground on this mountain was a vast and boundless plain. Big, it was too big. This mountain really was like a huge world. As they got closer and closer, they could even see large rivers and huge cities. All of them had landed in different positions. Lu Ming could no longer see Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the others. He looked up and could only see a few figures, who were very far away from him. Buzz! Lu Ming landed on the edge of the mountain. As he got closer, he realized that there was a dense forest below him. A terrifying force of gravity pulled Lu Ming towards the forest. What a terrifying gravity! On this mountain, the gravity is thousands of times stronger than the outside world. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. He activated the world energy, stabilized his body, and fell toward the forest. Boom! Lu Ming landed heavily in a forest, creating a huge pit on the ground. The powerful shock wave shattered the ancient trees in the surroundings. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. He had finally arrived at Netherworld Mountain. The origin energy here. No, this isn't origin energy. The next moment, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He discovered that the heaven and earth here was filled with a type of energy. It was not the original qi, but an energy of a higher grade than the original qi. Its quality was higher than the original qi, and he could also absorb and refine it. The effect was at least 10 times better than the original qi. Lu Ming was shocked. This meant that the speed of his cultivation here was much faster than in the outside world. Although it might not be 10 times faster, it would be at least 5 times faster. What is the origin of this Netherworld Mountain? The cultivation conditions are actually so much better than the Heaven Realm? Lu Ming's mind was filled with thoughts. Buzz! Whoosh! At this moment, lights and shadows flickered in the surroundings. The next moment, many figures appeared and surrounded Lu Ming. Human! At the sight of these figures, Lu Ming was shocked. These figures were all humans. There were more than 30 of them, and their cultivation was shockingly high. All of them were at the Great Emperor realm. More than 30 great emperors had appeared. Even in the Heaven realm, they were a powerful force. More than 30 people glared at Lu Ming with killing intent in their eyes. They gritted their teeth and wished they could cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. Lu Ming could not figure it out. He had just arrived and did not offend these people. Why were they looking at him with fierce expressions? In particular, there was a young lady among them who was as beautiful as a flower. She was looking at Lu Ming with resentment as if he had done something outrageous. Kid, who are you? Why did you stop us from capturing the Jade Blood Fox? One of the burly men glared at Lu Ming, his body exuding a powerful aura. He was a 5-star great emperor, and he was very powerful. Disrupt your capture of the Jade Blood Fox? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He didn't. He had just arrived. You're still playing dumb? We spent 3 months to lure the Jade Blood Fox here. We were about to catch it, but you descended from the sky and caused such a huge commotion, scaring it away. You're still denying it? The woman glared at Lu Ming hatefully and said through gritted teeth. Ah! Lu Ming finally understood. He had just descended from the sky, and the other party happened to be here to capture a Jade Blood Fox, and he had just so happened to scare the other party away. This was too much of a coincidence. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He was really speechless. Everyone, I really didn't do it on purpose. I'm willing to compensate for the losses I caused. Lu Ming said. Compensation? Jade blood foxes are extremely rare and difficult to catch. Can you catch one? The young woman continued to speak with hatred. Miss, why bother talking nonsense with him? I think he was sent by MOU to disrupt our capture of the jade blood fox. The 5-star Great Emperor Realm burly man said angrily. That's right, they must have been sent by MOU. It must be. He doesn't want us to cure the master. The others also roared in anger. In my opinion, we should capture him first and interrogate him. A white-haired elder charged at Lu Ming. He reached out his hand and a huge claw was aimed at Lu Ming. This old man had the cultivation of 2-star Great Emperor. This cultivation system? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Then, he gathered a little energy and pointed his finger. Lu Ming was very curious about the cultivation methods of these people and wanted to test them. Therefore, he did not use his full strength and only used a trace of his strength. Chapter 2461 Capturing the Eyed Blood Fox. Bang! Lu Ming's finger touched the other party's claw. After a loud boom, the other party's body shook violently and he flew backward. He kept retreating and his face was a little pale. This kind of training method is somewhat similar to the primordial training system, but not exactly. It's more similar to Little Qing's training method, but it's far less exquisite than Little Qing's. Lu Ming's mind was racing. This kid is quite capable. I'll take him down, a middle-aged woman said. This middle-aged woman was tall and strong, but she used a large saber. The blade was faster than the palm. Buzz! Whoosh! The middle-aged woman moved and pounced toward Lu Ming. She slashed hundreds of times in an instant. The dazzling saber light was about to annihilate Lu Ming. There was only pure power on each blade light. There was no fluctuation of nomological laws or great Tao. Lu Ming moved like a butterfly, shuttling back and forth between the knife lights, sensing the other party's cultivation path in detail. The middle-aged woman was a 4-star Great Emperor. Her expression changed. She shouted and unleashed all of her strength. She slashed her saber at Lu Ming. However, they could not even touch the corner of Lu Ming's clothes. Lu Ming always dodged them exquisitely. At the side, the other people's faces all became serious. Let's attack together and take him down. The 5-star Great Emperor ordered. This person had the highest cultivation level among this group of people. The strength that Lu Ming had displayed was too powerful. Even a 4-star Great Emperor was fooled by him. Even if he were to take action personally, he was afraid that he would not be able to do anything to Lu Ming. Therefore, he had asked everyone to attack together. Attack, die! Big River shouted softly and pounced at Lu Ming first. He struck out with his palm, and the force of his palm was overwhelming. At the same time, the other 30-plus people also made their moves. Of course, except for the young woman, who was not a Great Emperor. The combined attack of more than 30 Great Emperors was shockingly powerful. All kinds of attacks were aimed at Lu Ming from all directions. Let's stop here. Lu Ming muttered. A purple-gold light flashed on his body and he instantly struck more than 30 times. Bang! Bang! There were more than 30 consecutive explosions. More than 30 silhouettes retreated frantically. Each and every one of them was pale as they stared at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming had only used one move and he had instantly repelled them. They understood that Lu Ming was too powerful, far above them. Lu Ming had been merciful just now. Otherwise, they would have all died. The young woman's eyes were brimming with tears. She stared at Lu Ming and said, "Why is MOU so ruthless? My father is already seriously injured. Why don't you let us cure him? Did you capture that jade blood fox to treat someone's injuries?" Lu Ming asked. "You're still acting dumb. Don't you know that MOU sent you here? MOU injured my father, and only the blood of the jade blood fox can cure my father's injuries." The young woman said. On the other hand, The burly man and the rest surrounded the young lady cautiously to prevent Lu Ming from attacking her. Where is the jade blood fox? Perhaps I can help you catch it. Lu Ming touched his nose and said, after all, he was the one who disturbed the other party's capture of the jade blood fox. He was a little embarrassed. Moreover, if he could help the other party capture the jade blood fox, he would definitely win their favor. Lu Ming had just arrived and needed to find out more information through the people in Netherworld Mountain. You'll help us? Although your cultivation is high, it's impossible for you to catch a jade blood fox. A jade blood fox comes and goes without a trace, doesn't have a fixed residence, and is extremely fast. It's very difficult to find a trace of it unless you use the jade blood grass to attract it. However, the jade blood grass is too rare. Do you know how much effort we spent to buy one? Where can we get the jade blood grass now? The young woman was on the verge of tears as she spoke. She looked at Lu Ming with hidden bitterness. What? Jade blood grass? Rare? Lu Ming was stunned. He remembered that there was also a spiritual herb in the heaven realm called the jade blood herb. Although it was not common, it was very common. Lu Ming had at least a few hundred of them. Could it be that they only had the same name? Lu Ming was a little uncertain. Miss, the jade blood grass you mentioned, is it this kind? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. A spiritual herb appeared in his hand and he showed it to the young lady. The young woman and the others widened their eyes. Jade bloodgrass, you also have jade bloodgrass? Can you sell this jade bloodgrass to us? After the young woman finished speaking, she stuck out her tongue and secretly scolded herself for being stupid. The other party had come specifically to disrupt their capture of the jade blood fox, so why would he sell them the jade bloodgrass? He was probably here to make them angry. Many thoughts flashed through the young woman's mind. But the next moment, her eyes suddenly widened. This was because there was a continuous flash of light in Lu Ming's hand. A pile of jade bloodgrass appeared. There were dozens of them. So many? How is that possible? The young woman was dumbfounded. The others weren't any better. Although the jade bloodgrass was not a high-level spiritual grass, it was very rare. They had spent a lot of effort to buy one, and they had already used it up. However, Lu Ming took out dozens of them at once, making them think that they were dreaming. There's no need to sell it. Since I'm the one who disturbed you guys from capturing the jade blood fox, I should atone for my sins by helping you guys capture the jade blood fox. Lu Ming smiled. Are you really going to help us? Are you really not sent by MOU? The young woman asked. Of course not. I really landed here unintentionally. Previously, I was fighting with an enemy in the sky, but I was no match for him and was blasted down BV him. Lu Ming told a lie. I see. It seems like we have wronged you. I'm sorry. The young woman stuck out her tongue and smiled, looking very cute. Then let's start. How do I use the jade bloodgrass? Lu Ming asked. It'll be fine as long as it's ignited. Once the jade bloodgrass is ignited, it will emit a strange smell that will attract the jade blood fox. However, we have to change our location. We have just disturbed it here. The jade blood fox is extremely cautious, and I'm afraid it won't come a second time. Let's go ahead, the young woman said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and flew forward. The gravity here was too strong. It was thousands of times stronger than the heaven realm. As a result, flying here was thousands of times more laborious and naturally, the speed was much slower. The young woman and the other 30-odd people also rose into the air and followed Lu Ming. My name is Su Rong. What's your name? The young woman asked on the way. Lu Ming. Lu Ming answered. In a short while, they had flown tens of thousands of miles, planning to catch the jade blood fox here. Lu Ming immediately ignited 10 stalks of jade bloodgrass, causing Su Rong and the rest to feel heartache. The jade bloodgrass emitted a strange smell that spread far away. As for Lu Ming and the rest, they retreated 100 miles and surrounded the area. They then waited quietly. Chapter 2462 Fengming Country. The jade bloodgrass was very resistant to fire and burned very slowly. One jade bloodgrass could burn for 10 days. They had waited for a full 6 days. Suddenly, There was a red bolt of lightning in the forest in front of them. It shot towards the burning jade bloodgrass at an extremely fast speed. It was not lightning. Lu Ming could see clearly that it was a blood-red fox. It was very small, less than half a meter long. "They're here." Su Rong's eyes lit up. "Attack!" the burly man shouted. Then, more than 30 people pounced on the jade blood fox from all directions, forming an encirclement. The jade blood fox was frightened and let out a few shrieks. Its 4 limbs stretched out and it retreated like a bolt of lightning. "Stop!" In that direction, a few great Emperor realm powerhouses shouted. Their power formed a huge hand that grabbed at the jade blood fox. The jade blood fox charged left and right, but all its escape routes were blocked. There was no way out. The jade blood fox screeched and suddenly leaped. Its body turned into a sword light and rushed over. Plop! One of the great Emperor's hand was pierced through by the jade blood fox. The fox rushed past it and turned into a bolt of lightning, leaving at top speed. "Not good, quickly chase!" Su Rong shouted. The other people's faces were also unsightly. This jade blood fox didn't match the rumors. It was rumored that jade blood foxes were extremely cautious and didn't have a fixed residence. They came and went without a trace and were extremely fast. However, their cultivation wasn't high and their combat strength wasn't strong. A great emperor was enough to deal with them. However, the jade blood fox was able to transform into a sword beam and break through a great emperor's attack. This was something they had not expected. They pursued madly, but the jade blood fox was even faster than them. It was like a red bolt of lightning, rapidly flying into the distance and about to escape. This time, the jade blood fox had been surrounded and was escaping. With its cautious nature, it would be extremely difficult to attract it over. Su Rong was on the verge of tears. At this moment, a figure rushed out at an extremely fast speed. It was even faster than the jade blood fox and disappeared in the blink of an eye. So fast, Su Rong and the rest were stunned because the person who had rushed out was Lu Ming. Hope rose in their hearts. They hoped that Lu Ming would be able to catch it. They gritted their teeth and gave chase. After a while, they saw Lu Ming stepping on the air in front of them. He was holding a blood-red little fox in his hand and it was struggling non-stop. It was the jade blood fox. I caught it, I caught it." Su Rong jumped up in excitement, and the others were also overjoyed. "Miss Su, I'm glad I didn't fail you." Lu Ming smiled and passed the jade blood fox to Su Rong. "Lu Ming, thank you. It's all thanks to you this time." Su Rong was so excited that her face turned red. She quickly took the jade blood fox and kept it in a jade bottle. Her father was saved, and her face was full of smiles. "Lu Ming, where are you going next?" Su Rong asked. "To be honest, I was just about to ask. Where is this place?" Lu Ming asked. "You don't know where we are?" Su Rong was curious. "I actually came from a distant place. I was chased by someone and I was running for my life. I don't even know where I am now." Lu Ming gave a bitter smile. "This is the 10-square forest of Fengming country. Our Su family is in Great Ming City, which is one of the big cities in Fengming country." Su Rong said. "Great Ming City, country of Fengming?" Lu Ming muttered. The ancestral dragon said that there were tens of thousands of countries in Netherworld Mountain, and it seemed like it was true. "Lu Ming, since you're not from here, why don't you return to Great Ming City with us first and then think of a way to go back?" Su Rong said. "We can only do this for now." Lu Ming pretended to be helpless and nodded. Su Rong was overjoyed. Then, a group of people appeared and returned to the Great Ming City. The 10-square forest was not too far from the Great Ming City. It was only 1,000,000 miles away. However, the flying speed here was much slower. It took them a few hours to reach the Great Ming City. Great Ming City was a majestic city. It was very huge and could be ranked in the top 20 even in the vast country of Fengming. On the way, Lu Ming also learned from Su Rong how her father was injured. Her father had challenged a man called Mou and was injured by him. As for Mou, he was the guard of a commander in Fengming. Along the way, Su Rong talked a lot to Lu Ming. Fengming country advocated martial strength and used martial strength to rule the country. Under the Fengming country's king, there were 13 commanders. Each of them led a large army and guarded a region. They were all extremely powerful existences. The great Ming city was under the rule of one of the commanders. Under this commander, there were 18 guards. Mou was one of the guards under this commander, and his combat strength was very strong. However, there was a rule in Fengming country. All status was based on strength, and it could be fought for with strength. As long as he could defeat his opponent, he would be able to replace his opponent's position. For example, if they defeated or even killed Mou, they could replace him and become the guard of that commander. They would be high and mighty and run amok in an area. My father didn't covet the position of the other party's commander and guard. He was forced by Mou to challenge him. In the end, Su Rong sighed. "Oh, what's going on?" Lu Ming asked. "Mou set up a bet with my big brother and he lost in the end. He's in debt, and even if I sell the entire Su family, I can't pay off those debts." Su Rong sighed. Lu Ming nodded. He roughly understood. The group walked through the city gate and headed in the direction of the Su family. There are so many races? Lu Ming was shocked the moment he entered the city. Within the city, the streets were wide and people were coming and going. However, it wasn't just the human race. There were also other races. For example, they had horns on their heads and were of a race similar to humans. There were also races that had long tails, and races that had human-shaped upper bodies but snake-like lower bodies. These races were definitely not formed by the divine beasts, but were born like this. Lu Ming looked around and saw at least 4 to 5 races. These races did not exist in the heaven realm, primordial realm, or evil god realm. The ancestral dragon said that Netherworld Mountain came from beyond the heavens. Could these be the races from beyond the heavens? Lu Ming pondered. Then, he thought of the statue at the core of the Void God Island. That statue had a pair of wings on its back. It was also a race that had never been seen before. Was there any connection between all these? However, Lu Ming realized that the number of humans was the highest. After passing through a few streets, a huge mansion appeared in front of them. This mansion was the Su family. However, at this moment, the Su family's residence was surrounded by people. What's going on? The faces of Su Rong and the others changed, and they rushed over. It's Su Rong. Many people saw Su Rong and quickly made way for her. Chapter 2463. Commander Guard Lu Ming and the group walked through the crowd and discovered that there were 2 groups of people in a confrontation at the entrance of the Su family. One of the groups was led by a burly man in iron armor. His eyes were ferocious. Beside him was a group of armored experts from different races. All of them had powerful auras and were great Emperor Realm experts. "Mou!" Su Rong shouted. The brawny man heard the voice and looked over. When he saw Su Rong, he laughed. "So it's the young lady of the Su family. You've come back just in time." This burly man was Mou. Opposite Mou and the others was another group of people. The leader was a man who looked to be in his 60s. However, his chi was extremely weak, dispirited, and his face was pale. It was obvious that he had been seriously injured. "Rong, quickly come over." The man in his 60s shouted. "Father, how are you?" Su Rong quickly ran over and said worriedly. This man was Su Rong's father, Su Yuanshan. I'm fine," Su Yuanshan said, but after a few words, his face turned pale and he gasped for breath. "Mou, what are you doing in my Su family again?" Su Rong glared at Mou. "What are you doing? Your big brother still owes me a lot of divine stones. Of course I'm here to collect the debt." Mou sneered. When he looked at Su Rong, a fiery light flashed in the depths of his eyes. "How many immortal stones does my big brother owe you?" Mou said. 800,000 divine stones. Mou said. "I only owe you 300,000 yuan. A young man beside Su Yuanshan shouted. This young man was Su Rong's elder brother, Su Feng. "You don't want interest? You've been in debt for a year. With interest, it's 800,000. Mou said with a cold smile. "An increase of 500,000 yuan in a year? Why don't you just rob someone?" Su Rong shouted angrily. This is the rule here. It's only right to pay back what you owe. Hurry up and return it? Mou scolded. 800,000 divine stones. Even if I sell the entire Su family, it won't be enough. Su Yuanshan said. Su Rong's older brother did not dare to speak. He lowered his head. Not enough? Miss Su Rong is a beautiful woman. You can give her to me. Your Su family and Miss Su Rong will be enough. As for the rest, I won't care about it. Mou said. He looked at Su Rong with a burning gaze. Su Rong's face turned pale. Don't even think about having any ideas about Rong. Su Yuanshan roared. Don't even think? Since you can't, then don't blame me for being impolite. Mou said ferociously. A terrifying aura emanated from his body. Peak Emperor. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. Mou's cultivation was at the Peak Emperor realm. Mou's subordinates also burst out with a powerful aura and pressed down on the Su family. The people of the Su family couldn't resist at all, especially Su Yuanshan. Under the pressure of the other party's aura, his body staggered back. His face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Father! Su Rong was extremely worried. Su Yuanshan was already seriously injured, and now that he was even more injured, he would be in danger if this continued. If you don't do as I say, the Su family will be destroyed today. Mou said coldly. Around them, no one spoke. Fengming country was founded on martial arts, and everything was spoken with martial arts. The strong stood in high positions, and the weak were like ants. It was extremely cruel. If the Su family had the strength to kill Mou, the commander would not say anything. Mou, you want die a good death. Su Rong cursed. Who can kill me? Mou said ferociously. Me. At this moment, a voice rang out and reverberated throughout the entire area. Many people were shocked. Who dared to be so bold as to say that he could kill Mou? Mou's eyes were filled with cold, killing intent as he followed the voice and looked at the speaker. Finally, his gaze landed on Lu Ming. The person who spoke just now was Lu Ming. Can you say? You want to kill me? Mou enunciated each word. His murderous intent was as cold as a knife. He looked at Lu Ming as if he was looking at a dead man. It seems like you're not deaf. I heard that as long as I challenge you and defeat you, I can take your place and become the commander's guard? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Hee, you want to become the commander's guard? You're quite ambitious. Let me tell you it's true. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Mou said ferociously. Lu Ming, Mou has the cultivation of the peak of the void interpretation stage. Moreover, his strength is the best among those at the peak of the void interpretation stage. Su Rong sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. She was very worried. Profound void martial stage? Wasn't it the Great Emperor? Could it be that Netherworld Mountain's realm division is different from the Heaven Realm and Evil God Realm? Lu Ming's heart stirred. However, now was not the time to ask for details. Mou, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept my challenge? Lu Ming shouted directly. Lu Ming had his own plan. The local forces in Netherworld Mountain were extremely powerful. There were even Martial God Realm experts who wanted to obtain opportunities in Netherworld Mountain and even kill the alien races. They had to borrow power. It borrowed the power of the living beings of Netherworld Mountain. This way, not only could he exterminate the alien races, but he could also obtain resources. It would be difficult to rely on himself. He believed that the other races would do the same. Now, it was up to who was faster. He would first become the commander of the guards and then continue to climb up. When he had a certain amount of power in Fengming, he could use the power of Fengming to find the Heaven Realm creatures and foreign race powerhouses. Gathering all the living beings in the Heaven Realm, killing the foreign races, and finding opportunities. Challenge Mou? Many people in the surroundings were stunned. Su Yuanshan and the others were also stunned. Lu Ming looked so young and he wanted to challenge Mou. He was too bold. Lu Ming, Su Rong was worried. Although Lu Ming was powerful and had defeated more than 30 experts with one move, Mou was an expert at the peak of the void interpretation stage. His subordinates could not compare to him. You want to challenge me? Mou's eyes flickered continuously, revealing a cold light. What's wrong? You don't dare to? Lu Ming said in disdain. Brat, why wouldn't I dare? However, let me see your strength. If you don't have some strength, why would any random cat or dog come to challenge me? How would I have so much time? Mou sneered. Lord Protector, let me test his strength. Behind Mou, a burly man in iron armor walked out. This burly man had a pair of horns on his head that were as sharp as blades. All right, you can try. You can kill him directly, Mou said coldly. Your subordinate understands. The bullhorn man said coldly. He then walked toward Lu Ming with a battle axe in his hand. Kid, make your move. Buzz. As soon as the bullhorned man finished speaking, Lu Ming moved. A spear ray shot towards the bullhorned man at an extremely fast speed. Before the bullhorned man could react, he was pinned to the ground by Lu Ming's spear radiance. Chapter 2464 One-Shot Kill. It was an instant kill. Many people were stunned. The bullhorned man's cultivation base was not weak. He was at the 5th stage of the insightful emptiness realm, but he was actually killed in an instant? When many people looked at Lu Ming, the coldness in their eyes was completely different from just now. Lu Ming's ability to kill the bullhorned man with one move was enough to show that he could not be underestimated. Mou's eyes also narrowed slightly, a trace of solemnness flashing through them. Can I challenge you now? Lu Ming's gaze turned to Mou. You have some ability. A fierce light flashed in Mou's eyes. With a wave of his hand, a blood-red saber appeared in his hand, emitting a bloody smell. From this, it could be seen that many people had died in Mou's hands. Little brother, you have to make him take out his guard token. That way, if you defeat him, you can obtain the position of Commander Guard. Su Yuanshan reminded him. You think he can defeat me? Mou snorted coldly, but he still followed the rules and took out the guard token, putting it on his belt. Make your move. Mou said ferociously. You should make the first move. They'll give you a chance to make a move. Lu Ming said. What he meant was that once he made his move, he would have no chance. Mou's expression turned ugly, revealing a cold, killing intent. Since you're looking for death, I'll fulfill your wish. Bang. Mou's figure was like a bolt of lightning, rushing toward Lu Ming and slashing the saber in his hand. It was fast, accurate, and powerful. Lu Ming stood still. In his palm, the power of domination condensed into a long spear, which he held in front of him. Clang. Mou's saber stood on Lu Ming's long spear. Lu Ming's body was as steady as Mount Tai and he did not move. The huge rebound force made Mou's body shake violently and he retreated continuously. His combat strength is indeed powerful. Lu Ming's heart stirred. In the heaven realm, Mou's fighting power was considered strong even among peak great emperors. There were strong and weak cultivators in the same realm. Mou was considered strong among peak great emperors. However, it was nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. At this moment, Mou was extremely shocked. He had used all his strength in that move just now, intending to kill Lu Ming in one move. However, the final result was that Lu Ming did not move at all. Instead, he was forced to retreat. At this moment, he understood that Lu Ming's ability was above his. No, I can't just give up my position as a guard for nothing. Mou roared in his heart. In Fengming country, there were a total of 13 commanders. Each of them led an army and held a high position. And each commander only had 18 guards. One could imagine how great the power of this position was. It was hard to come by, and he did not want to give it up. Buzz. He turned around and ran. He had actually fled without fighting. Since you've already accepted the challenge, don't you think it's too late to run? Lu Ming's cold voice was heard. His muscles trembled and his body rushed towards Mou like lightning. The long spear in his hand was thrust out at an extremely fast speed. Mou was shocked. He wanted to turn around to defend, but it was too late. The long spear pierced through Mou's head and killed him. Mou's body fell heavily to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and he died with grievances. He had come this time with the intention of taking the Su family into his own pocket and taking the Su family's beautiful young lady under his belt. He had not expected to lose his life here. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and the guard token on Mou's belt flew into his hand. Mou's men all looked frightened and then turned to run, scattering in a hubbub. Mou is dead. At first, Su Rong, Su Yuanshan, and the others were stunned, but then they became ecstatic. Now that Mou was dead, the divine stones that big brother Su Rong owed Mou would naturally be gone. No one would find trouble with them anymore, so they were naturally happy. Thank you, brother Lu Ming, for saving me. Su Yuanshan had already learned of Lu Ming's name from Su Rong and came over to express his gratitude. You're too polite. I only made a move because I wanted to get the position of his guard. Lu Ming smiled, then picked up the token in his hand and asked, Senior, how do I use this token? That's simple. As long as you take this token and meet the Lord Commander, as long as the Lord Commander agrees, you will naturally be able to inherit the position of the Commander's guard. Under normal circumstances, the Lord Commander will agree, because the stronger you are, the more beneficial it is to the Lord Commander. Su Yuanshan explained. Back then, when Mou had forced the Su family, Su Yuanshan had challenged Mou, hoping to defeat him and get his guard position. In this way, the Su family's crisis could be resolved. Unfortunately, he was not Mou's match and was instead seriously injured by Mou. Father, it's all thanks to Lu Ming that we were able to capture the Jade Blood Fox. Su Rong said, You caught the Jade Blood Fox? Su Yuanshan was overjoyed. He then thanked Lu Ming solemnly. Lu Ming was really the benefactor of the Su family. First, he helped them catch the Jade Blood Fox and his injuries could be treated. Then he killed Mou. Without Lu Ming, the Su family would really be finished. He was very grateful to Lu Ming. Brother Lu Ming, come in and have a seat. Men, prepare a banquet. Su Yuanshan welcomed Lu Ming into the Su family and instructed the servants to prepare a banquet. The surrounding onlookers also dispersed. All of this was not surprising to them. In the country of Fengming, such challenges were common. Not only were there people challenging the guards of the commanders, there were even people challenging the commanders. The Su family treated Lu Ming warmly as a distinguished guest. After that, Lu Ming stayed at the Su family for a few days. He read through the huge amount of information that the Su family had collected and had a better understanding of Nether Mountain. There were many races in Netherworld Mountain. There were the bull-headed race, the scaled race, the serpentmen race, and so on. There were dozens of races of all sizes. Moreover, the cultivation realm in Netherworld Mountain was very different from that in the Heaven realm. The first few stages were basically the same, but after reaching the Martial Emperor realm, it was very different. The Martial Emperor realm in Netherworld Mountain was divided into the Void Prying stage, True Void stage, Void Interpretation stage, and Void Transformation stage. Each stage was divided into 7 stages. They corresponded to the Void Emperor, the True Emperor, the Great Emperor, and the Heavenly Emperor. For example, Mou was at the peak of the Void realm, which was the same as a peak Great Emperor. As for the living beings of Netherworld Mountain, they didn't cultivate any nomological laws or great Taos. They didn't even come into contact with the heavenly Tao. What they cultivated was pure power. Above the transformation void martial stage was the God realm, also known as God. This point was exactly like what the ancestral dragon had said. The living beings here called Netherworld Mountain the Netherworld world. Within the Yellow Springs world, there were hundreds of factions and countries, each occupying a region and ruling a region. As for the country of Fengming, it was only a small country on the edge of the Yellow Springs world. In addition, Lu Ming also saw the records about the Cursed Land. There were some places in the Yellow Springs world that the living beings here could not enter at all. If they entered, they would die. The living beings of the Yellow Springs world called them the Cursed Lands. Chapter 2465. The First Guard, the Cursed Land. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The Cursed Land was the place they were looking for. The people of Netherworld Mountain couldn't enter, because they had been cursed for generations. However, outsiders could enter. There might be opportunities in there. Moreover, Lu Ming was overjoyed to find out that there was such a cursed land in Fengming country. It was in the capital of Fengming country. It seems that I made the right choice by choosing to be the commander's guard. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming stayed at the Su family for 2 days. Under Su Rong's reluctant gaze, he bade them farewell. After that, Lu Ming walked towards the great Ming city's governor's manor. The commander who was guarding this place was called Yang. It could be said that he was the most powerful person in the great Ming city. He ruled dozens of nearby cities and had millions of troops. The governor's manor was located at the center of the great Ming city. Not long after, a vast mansion appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. At the gate of the mansion, there was a group of big men in iron armor standing guard. "Who's there?" "Stuff." Lu Ming was stopped the moment he arrived. "I want to see Commander Yang." The guard token appeared in Lu Ming's hands. "The commander's guard command token." The guard's expression changed, then he smiled and said, "So you have a guard token. Sir, please wait a moment. Well, report this to the commander." Since Lu Ming had a guard token, it meant that he had defeated a guard and was very likely to inherit that guard's position. In that case, his status would be far above theirs. Naturally, they did not dare to offend Lu Ming. "All right." Lu Ming nodded. He kept the guard token and waited quietly. After a long while, the guard came out and reported, "The commander wants to see you. Please follow me." Then he turned around and walked inside. Lu Ming followed him into the commander's residence. They passed through several corridors and courtyards before they arrived at a large hall. At the entrance of the hall, the burly man who was guarding the door did not dare to enter. He gestured for Lu Ming to enter while he himself retreated. Lu Ming stepped into the hall and realized that it was already full of people. At the head of the table sat a middle-aged man with a sinister face. His eyes were long and narrow, and when he opened and closed them, he gave off a cold and gloomy feeling. However, what attracted Lu Ming's attention the most was the lower half of the person's body. The lower half of this person's body was a snake's tail. It was a serpent man, and the aura on his body was extremely shocking. Heavenly Emperor! Lu Ming could immediately sense that this person's cultivation was at the Celestial Emperor, which was the void transformation stage of the netherworld. On both sides of the hall, there were more than 10 people sitting. There were men and women, old and middle-aged. All of them had powerful auras and were peak emperors. This must be the commander and his guards. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then stepped forward and cupped his fists. "Tiam Lu Ming." "Greetings, Commander." "You killed Mou?" Yang asked from the seat of honor. "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded. "Take out your guard token and let me take a look," Yang said. Lu Ming nodded. He waved his hand and the guard token appeared in his hand. "Lord Commander, may I ask if I can inherit the position of protector?" Lu Ming asked. What a joke. You want to inherit the position of protector? The one who spoke was not Commander Yang, but a middle-aged man sitting on the left. He had a pair of bull horns and eyes as big as copper bells. "According to the rules, I can inherit Mou's position after killing him. Why can't I inherit the position of a guard?" Lu Ming asked. "Ridiculous. I received news that you attacked Mou from behind. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been his match. Such a despicable person wants to inherit the position of guard. It's ridiculous. Now you dare to come here. Well, today I'll avenge Mou," the bull-headed man said coldly. He stepped forward and his powerful aura pressed toward Lu Ming. This bull-headed man was named Blue. He had a very good relationship with Mou. He was also the strongest among the 18 guards under Yang. He had received news that Mou had been killed by Lu Ming's sneak attack from behind. He was furious and was about to avenge Mou. He did not expect Lu Ming to come to his door. Yang sat at the head of the table with a sneer on the corner of his mouth, but he didn't stop them. He had also received the news that Mou had been stabbed to death by Lu Ming from behind. He also wanted to see if Lu Ming had the ability. If he did not, Blue would have killed him for nothing. "I'm afraid you're a bit lacking." Lu Ming cast a casual glance at Blue. Lu Ming didn't care about a peak great emperor, no matter how strong he was. You're a despicable man who only knows how to sneak attack me from behind. How dare you be so arrogant? The whirlwind kill. A wide battle axe appeared in Blue's hands. He raised the battle axe and charged at Lu Ming. In the process of charging towards Lu Ming, Blue's entire body began to spin rapidly, bringing along his battle axe. Like a whirlwind, he swept towards Lu Ming with astonishing power. Whirlwind kill, it's whirlwind kill. Big Brother Blue has used a killing move from the start. That kid is finished. Big Brother Blue has used his killing move. Not many people at the profound void martial stage can fight against him. That kid is dead for sure. He will be ground into mincemeat. The other guards sneered coldly, as if they were watching a show. They seemed to have already seen the scene of Lu Ming being strangled to death. Boom! At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. He took a step forward and threw a punch. The entire hall rumbled. Thump! Lu Ming's fist collided with Blue's battle axe, creating a loud boom. Blue's battle axe was then sent flying far away. Then, a shrill cry was heard. Blue's burly body was crushed by Lu Ming's fist force and flew far away. He fell heavily on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. With just one move, Blue had been severely injured. In the hall, gasps could be heard. The guards widened their eyes in disbelief. Blue was the strongest among them. However, he was defeated by Lu Ming in one move after he had used his killing move. Lu Ming's combat strength was shocking. They understood that Lu Ming did not need a sneak attack to kill Mou. He could easily kill Mou in a head-on battle. Just this little bit of battle power? I thought he would be very strong. How disappointing. Lu Ming shook his head and cast a disdainful glance at Blue. Just now, he had shown mercy for Yang's sake. Otherwise, with one punch, Blue would have been reduced to nothing. Blue was so angry that he spat out 2 more mouthfuls of blood. He was so embarrassed he wanted to die. Ah, good. You're Lu Ming, right? From now on, you'll be my guard, my first guard. On the seat of honor, Yang laughed out loud, his eyes revealing his excitement. Chapter 2465 Commanders Assembly 3. Many thanks, Commander. Lu Ming cupped his fists. All right, you'll live in Mou's mansion in the future. If there's anything you need, feel free to tell me, Yang said with a smile. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Congratulations, Guard Lu. Congratulations, Brother Lu. At the side, the other guards were all smiling as they congratulated Lu Ming. It was the complete opposite of the situation just now. Now, Lu Ming had proven his ability and was highly regarded by Yang. He was called the first guard by Yang. Of course, they had to build a good relationship with Lu Ming. As for Blue, let him go to the side. This world was always so realistic. Blue stood at the side, his expression extremely ugly. After that, someone led Lu Ming to a place. After 2 rounds, they arrived in front of a mansion. This mansion used to be Mou's mansion and now it belonged to Lu Ming. As soon as Lu Ming entered the mansion, he was greeted by a group of people who bowed to him. This subordinate greets Lord Guard. There were more than 100 people who kowtowed to Lu Ming. You're free. Lu Ming nodded. These people used to be Mou's subordinates, and now they had become his subordinates. Sir Guard, what are your orders? Some people looked at Lu Ming with smiles and fawning looks. You guys go do what you need to do. Lu Ming waved his hand and dismissed the crowd. He found a room to stay in. He sat cross-legged in his room and started to cultivate. The mysterious energy between heaven and earth continued to gather toward Lu Ming. After a long while, Lu Ming opened his eyes. The effect of the path understanding ancient tree is getting smaller and smaller in my cultivation. Lu Ming muttered. He realized that ever since he had comprehended the ruler Tao, the Tao comprehension ancient tree had been of little use to him. Lu Ming seemed to be able to merge with the world and even dominate the world. He could directly comprehend the way of the dominator from the world. The effect of the path understanding ancient tree had become minimal and was not of much help to Lu Ming. The Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree was very useful for the comprehension of laws, great Taos, and heavenly Taos, but it was not very useful for the Tao of rulers. After some thought, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This storage ring was Mou's. Lu Ming had killed Mou and naturally obtained his storage ring. He extended his spiritual senses into it. The next moment, a few combat weapons appeared in Lu Ming's hands. What a strange weapon! Lu Ming took the combat weapon and sized it up carefully. The weapons in the Yellow Springs world were also very different from those outside. It's really amazing. Lu Ming injected the world energy into the combat weapon and sensed it carefully. He was shocked. He found that the combat weapons here were engraved with many arrays. These arrays interacted with each other and formed many wonderful functions. Once energy was injected into them, these arrays would be activated, causing the combat weapons to burst out with amazing power. Moreover, Lu Ming realized that even if he injected the world energy, he could still activate the array inside. Lu Ming tried a few times and realized that these few combat weapons were equivalent to the arch weapons. None of them were equivalent to celestial the arch weapons. Thinking about it, Mou was only a great emperor. How could he have a weapon equivalent to a celestial emperor weapon? If I can get some combat weapons that are equivalent to celestial emperor weapons in the netherworld world and bring them out, the experts in the heaven realm can also use them. That will greatly enhance the strength of the heaven realm. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Then, he kept the combat weapons and a glittering and translucent stone appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This stone was about the same size as a raw stone. Is this the netherworld world's divine stone? Lu Ming muttered. Then, he activated his cultivation technique and absorbed the energy of the divine stone. The energy in the divine stone was exactly the same as the energy drifting between heaven and earth in Netherworld Mountain, but it was many times richer. The energy of a divine stone was absorbed by Lu Ming and was quickly refined by him, turning into his world energy. One divine stone actually contains so much energy. It's equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming was shocked. The energy of this divine stone was too much. One piece was equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming checked and found that there were 500,000 divine stones in Mou's storage ring. That was 50 billion supreme-grade raw stones. 50 billion supreme-grade raw stones was already shocking enough. Lu Ming had obtained a large number of supreme-grade raw gemstones on the Void Island. There were about 600 to 700 billion of them. Now, there was only about 100 billion left. The divine stones on Mou were equivalent to half of the raw stones on Lu Ming's body. If I can get enough godstones here, I won't have to worry about my cultivation. Lu Ming was overjoyed. His cultivation had consumed too many resources. Now, he only had over 10,000 stones of chaos and 100 billion supreme-grade raw stones left. These resources were simply not enough. However, once he had enough divine stones, he could do it. A cultivation breakthrough did not necessarily require chaos stones or primordial chaos stones. A single supreme-grade raw gemstone could do the same. However, the amount required was astonishing. Therefore, in the past, Lu Ming had always cultivated with the raw gemstones and the chaos stones or the primordial chaos stones. This would greatly reduce the consumption of raw gemstones. However, with more than 10,000 chaos stones, Lu Ming would probably use up all of them if he were to break through again. However, as long as he had enough divine stones, he could break through. Lu Ming began to think about how he could collect more divine stones. In that case, he would have enough resources for cultivation even after he left Netherworld Mountain. After tidying up his things, Lu Ming continued to cultivate and comprehend the way of the master. Time flew by and 2 months passed. The past 2 months had been very peaceful. Nothing happened. Lu Ming cultivated in peace. One day, Yang sent someone to look for Lu Ming, saying that he had something to discuss with him. It was still the same hall where Lu Ming met Yang. There were 2 other people besides Yang. One of them was Blue, who was defeated by Lu Ming. The other was a woman who looked to be in her 30s. She was very beautiful, graceful, and had a mature charm. She was full of strong temptation. This was something that was not difficult to notice from Blue's eyes that were filled with the flames of desire when he glanced at her from time to time. Lu Ming recognized the woman. She was one of Yi Yang's guards. Her name was Liao Min. "I've come to find you today for the commander's assembly." Yi Yang went straight to the point and said his purpose. Blue and Liao Min's expressions were calm. It was obvious that they had known about this long ago. However, Lu Ming was stunned and had some doubts. "Lu Ming, you don't know yet, right? Let me tell you." Yi Yang looked at Lu Ming and said, "There are a total of 13 commanders in Fengming country. Each of them is in charge of a region. However, the territory they are in charge of varies in size. The troops they command also vary in strength and strength. The ranking of the commanders is the deciding factor. The country of Fengming holds a meeting of the commanders every 100 years to determine the ranking of the commanders. In another half a month, it will be the new meeting of the commanders." Chapter 2467 Commanders gathered degree. Lu Ming came to a sudden realization. It seemed that Yi Yang had called them over for the commanders' assembly. Lu Ming did not say anything and waited for Yi Yang to continue. The rules of the commanders' assembly are very simple. Every commander can bring 3 guards with them to participate. At that time, they will challenge each other, and the king will re-rank them according to their battle results. The 3 of you are the strongest among my guards. Therefore, you will be coming with me to the capital to participate in the commanders' meeting," Yi Yang announced. "Yes." Lu Ming, Blue, and Liao Min nodded. "The capital?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He also wanted to go to the capital because there was a cursed land in the capital of Fengming. This was exactly what he wanted. "All right, get ready. We'll leave tomorrow," Yi Yang said. The crowd dispersed, and the day passed quickly. The next day, Yi Yang brought Lu Ming and the other 2 people, as well as other guards, to the capital of Fengming country on a huge bird. After flying for 3 days, they arrived at the capital of the country of Fengming. It was a huge and vast ancient city. The capital of Fengming country was bustling with activity. Lu Ming saw even more races. Its commander Yi Yang. The moment they entered the capital, they were immediately recognized. The commanders' meeting that happens once every 100 years is coming. The capital is going to be lively again. I wonder if there will be any changes to the ranking of the various commanders this time. It's hard to say. In my opinion, the most suspenseful thing is still the battle between the first and second place. 100 years ago, the 2 commanders fought for 1,000 moves before the winner was decided. Not bad, I'm looking forward to it. While the crowd was discussing, Lu Ming and the rest passed through a few streets and arrived at a huge mansion. This mansion was the mansion that Yi Yang ruled in the capital. It was also huge and there were many experts stationed in the mansion. As soon as Yi Yang and the others arrived, someone came to welcome them and arranged their accommodation. The next thing to do was to wait for the General Assembly to begin. Time flew by quickly, and more than 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. The General Assembly had arrived. Yi Yang brought Lu Ming, Bin Biyu, and Liao Min to the palace. When they arrived at the Imperial Palace, there were naturally people to receive them. They were welcomed to a wide area. This area was surrounded by rows of seats as a viewing platform. In the center, there was a huge fighting stage. It was obvious that the duel would be held on that fighting ring. "Hi Yang, you're early." A loud laugh was heard. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw 4 people flying over from another direction. The one in the lead was an old man with a horn on his forehead. He looked at Yi Yang with a cold smile. "You're not too late either," Yi Yang said coldly. Yi Yang, this time, I will definitely take your place." The old man sneered. "You're still far from it." Yi Yang sneered and confronted each other. Cold auras emanated from both of them as they collided in the air. Of course, they understood that now was not the time to fight. They all snorted coldly and found their seats on the stands. That old man is called the commander of Border City. He's ranked 10th among the 13 commanders, while our commander is ranked 9th. That guy has always wanted to replace our commander's position. Liao Min explained to Lu Ming via voice transmission. Along the way, Liao Min was closer to Lu Ming. She frequently expressed her goodwill to Lu Ming and looked at him with flirtatious eyes. This caused Blue, who was standing at the side, to feel extremely jealous. Oh, no wonder. Lu Ming nodded and smiled at Liao Min. At this moment, people kept flying over. All of them were commanders, with each of them leading 3 guards. Liao Min also introduced them to Lu Ming. It's Luo Mo Tong and Commander Yu Zhan. The 2 of them are here together. Suddenly, Liao Min spoke in a serious tone. Lu Ming also looked over. The 2 sides had 4 people each. The most eye-catching ones were naturally the 2 people walking in front. One of them was a middle-aged man in a white robe. He was a human. The other one had a pair of black wings on his back, and his eyes were cold. Through Liao Min's introduction, Lu Ming learned that the middle-aged man in the white robe was Commander Yu Zhan, who ranked first among the 13 commanders. The one with the black wings was the second-ranked Commander Rama. These 2 were extremely powerful and had been fighting each other for countless years. The strength of the 2 of them was about the same, but overall, Yu Zhan's commander was slightly better, so he was always ranked first. There were rumors that this time, Commander Luoma wanted to pull down Commander Yu Zhan's throne and replace him. Their gazes met, creating intense sparks as they sat down in their seats. These 2 people have deep cultivation. Lu Ming sized up the other party and realized that their cultivation was very profound. They were probably far above Yang. Then, Lu Ming sized up the guards that the other party had brought. Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming realized that among the guards that the 2 of them had brought, there were also Heavenly Emperor-level existences. Yang, the commander of the border city, and the others could not compare to them at all. What? Lu Ming saw that among the people brought by Commander Rama, there was a very mysterious person. He was covered in a black robe and his appearance could not be seen clearly. I don't see any heaven realm experts or foreign races. Lu Ming pondered. The country ruler has arrived. At this moment, a voice was heard. Then, a group of people flew over from the distance. There were more than 100 people, and the leader was a human in his 50s. He wore a crown and had a majestic aura. Obviously, this person was the king of Fengming country. The group of people landed on the seats at the head of the table and sat down in succession. Greetings, king. Everyone stood up and saluted the king of Fengming. Everyone, please rise and take a seat. The king of Fengming country waved his hand. Everyone took their seats. The commanders, meeting that happens once every 100 years, is about to begin again. The rules are the same as before. Everyone will bring 3 guards and the last commander will start the challenge. Just do whatever you want. This king knows what the final battle result is. The country ruler announced. Yes. Everyone responded. Then, the last-ranked commander sent out a guard and jumped onto the fighting ring. His opponent was a guard of the 12th-ranked commander. Boom. There was nothing to say, and the 2 of them began to fight fiercely. Both of them were peak great emperors, and their battle power was similar. The battle was very intense, and they exchanged a few hundred moves. In the end, both of them were injured, and it ended in a draw. How is it? Do you have the confidence? Commander Yang secretly sent a message to Lu Ming and the rest. This kind of trash can't even withstand a single blow. I can defeat him in 10 moves. Blue said, full of confidence. However, after taking a look at Lu Ming, his face turned gloomy again. He had been defeated by Lu Ming in 1 move. Lu Ming smiled and did not say much. Chapter 2468. The Evil God Tribe appears. The challenge continued. Next, it was still the last-ranked commander's turn to send someone out. It was still a battle between guards. But this time, after a few hundred moves, the guard of the 12th-ranked commander had won by a slight margin. Then, the 2 guards fought for the 3rd time. This time, the 2 guards also ended in a draw. Let's have a battle. In the end, the last-ranked commander leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at the guard who was ranked 12th. Fight. The 12th-ranked commander simply jumped onto the fighting ring. Boom. The 2 of them began to fight intensely. The scene was shocking. Both of their cultivation bases were equivalent to the Heavenly Emperor realm, but they were only equivalent to 1-star heavenly emperors. This battle also lasted for a few hundred moves. In the end, it was the commander ranked 12th who was slightly better and defeated the other party. The last-ranked commander had an ugly expression. He couldn't even defeat the 12th-ranked commander. This time, he was destined to be ranked last again. Alright, let's continue the battle after everyone has recovered. Men, prepare the banquet, King Fengming announced. Immediately, young girls began to serve fine wine and delicacies. Everyone began to eat and drink, and even Monarch Fengming called over a group of beautiful women to dance on the battle stage to liven things up. Everyone ate and drank as they waited. They were all powerhouses equivalent to the martial emperor realm. They had plenty of time and were not in a hurry. Only when the people who had been fighting just now had recovered to their peak condition did the challenge begin. The 12th commander began his challenge. However, he obviously didn't dare to challenge those who were ranked too high. He chose to challenge those who were ranked 11th. This battle was also very intense, but in the end, it was still the 11th ranked commander who won. 100 years was a very short period of time for these great emperors and heavenly emperors. Therefore, everyone's combat strength wouldn't improve much in 100 years. It was difficult to change the ranking, which was almost the same as 100 years ago. Only a few people were full of suspense. For example, Commander Yu Zhan and Commander Rama. After the battle, the crowd continued to wait. When they recovered, the challenges would continue. Just like that, 2 days later, it was finally the governor of the border city's turn to challenge. He directly challenged Commander Yang. Many people were interested. This was because this match was also quite suspenseful. 100 years ago, the border city's commander and Yang's forces were about the same in strength. In the final king's ranking, Yang was ranked ahead of the border city. All these years, the border city's commander had been dissatisfied and wanted to surpass Yang in this commander's meeting. Buzz. On the side of the border city's commander, a tall guard leaped onto the fighting ring. His gaze swept across Lu Ming, Bin Biyu, and Liao Min before finally stopping on Lu Ming and the other two. He knew Bamboo and Liao Min. They were both very strong, so he had no confidence. However, he had never seen Lu Ming before. Moreover, he looked very young. Hence, he chose Lu Ming at the first moment. "Kid, come down and fight." The burly man pointed at Lu Ming. "You actually picked me? It seems like they think I'm easy to bully." Lu Ming smiled. Blue and Liao Min's lips trembled. Lu Ming was easy to bully? They had already mourned for the burly man. Yang also had a smile on his face. The more eye-catching the performance of his guards was, the higher the score the monarch would give them, and the higher their ranking would be. Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared on the fighting ring. "Kid, what's your name?" "I don't kill nameless people," the large man said coldly. This kind of battle didn't have any life or death restrictions. If you had the strength, you could directly kill your opponent. "Lu Ming," Lu Ming said indifferently. However, when Lu Ming announced his name, the black-robed figure who had been sitting behind Commander Rama trembled and gave off a cold, killing intent. Commander Rama turned his head and looked at the black-robed man curiously. As for Lu Ming, he sensed the other party's killing intent at the first moment and looked at the black-robed man. The other party had revealed killing intent after he had told them his name. It was clear that they were targeting him. Even now, the other party was still filled with killing intent and didn't hide it at all. The moment he heard my name, he revealed killing intent towards me. Could he be from the evil god race? Lu Ming's gaze flickered. This was highly possible. The evil god race had a unique appearance, and they were not found in Netherworld Mountain. As long as they revealed their true form, the people from the Heaven Realm would be able to recognize them. On the other hand, the Heaven Realm had a certain advantage because there were many humans in Netherworld Mountain. They were mixed in with the crowd, so it would be difficult for the other party to find them. In the stands, Commander Yang looked in Commander Rama's direction and frowned. His expression was a little gloomy. "Brat, where are you looking at?" "You're looking for death." "Die." The burly man roared and charged at Lu Ming. The saber in his hand was as fast as lightning as he slashed at Lu Ming. "Get lost!" Lu Ming shouted coldly. He did not even look and kicked him. Bang! The other party's saber beam collapsed and he was kicked in the stomach by Lu Ming. He screamed in pain and flew out of the fighting ring, falling to the ground. So strong. Many people were stunned. He defeated a peak great emperor in one move. What kind of fighting power was that? Could it be that Lu Ming was a celestial the arch? The border city commander's expression was extremely ugly. If Yi Yang had a celestial emperor as his subordinate, he would lose for sure. After sending the burly man flying, Lu Ming's gaze turned to the black-robed man. Since you're here, why hide your head and show your tail? Reveal your true face. Hee hee. The other party sneered and then took off his black robe, revealing his true appearance. This person was middle-aged and had long purple hair. He was a member of the royal family of the foreign races. As his 3 eyes opened and closed, a cold light flashed. So you're Lu Ming? Hee, I'm quite lucky. You're the first person I killed. The non-human king laughed coldly. Although he did not make it so obvious, Lu Ming was very clear about his meaning. What the other party meant was that the first heaven realm being that he would kill in Netherworld Mountain would be Lu Ming. Oh really? That's what I wanted to say. Lu Ming responded coldly. He took a step forward and returned to the stands. You have a grudge against him? Yi Yang asked. His face was extremely gloomy and his long and narrow eyes flashed with a cold light. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Ha, Yi Yang, it seems that your guard has a grudge against my guard. It seems that we are going to have a battle. Commander Luoma laughed out loud. His voice was filled with coldness. Yi Yang's expression was extremely ugly. The other commanders watched with a faint smile, especially the commander of the border city, who was gloating. Feng Ming Country's king looked on with a faint smile and did not speak. These commanders had conflicts with each other, which was to his liking. This way, he could better manage them. Chapter 2468 Falling Out. Commander Rama must be joking. How would I dare to fight with you? Commander Yang forced a smile on his ugly face. Then, he looked at Lu Ming with a cold glint in his long and narrow eyes. Lu Ming, hurry up and apologize to Commander Rama and his guards. You want me to apologize? Even Lu Ming was stunned. He did not expect Yang to do this. Yang didn't even know what grudges he had with the alien race. He didn't even ask and wanted him to apologize? That's right. Hurry up. I don't care what grudges you have. Go and apologize, and you must make Commander Rama and his guards forgive you. No matter what method you use, no matter what price you have to pay. Do you understand? Yang said coldly. His voice was full of threat and he did not hide it at all. His meaning was clear. No matter what method Lu Ming used, even if he had to kneel down, even if he had to pay a heavy price, he had to make the other party forgive him so that Commander Rama would not challenge him. The meeting of commanders didn't have a rule that those who were ranked higher couldn't challenge those who were ranked lower. Now, it was just the beginning. Only the lower-ranked ones could start the challenge. Those who were ranked higher could also challenge those who were ranked lower. However, that would leave a bad impression in the king's heart. Yang was scared to death. Luo Mo was ruthless and had strong combat strength. If he challenged him, he would be dead. He was cursing in his heart. Of all people, Lu Ming had to offend the guard of Commander Rama. He was simply courting death. It was fine if he was courting death, but he had to implicate him. Hee hee. Lu Ming sneered. What are you laughing at? Yang said coldly. The gloominess in his snake-like eyes became even stronger. I'm laughing. Who do you think you are? What right do you have to order me around? Lu Ming answered indifferently. What? Yi Yang's eyes widened and he was stunned. What did Lu Ming say? Lu Ming actually said that he was something? How dare he? A flame of anger filled Yi Yang's chest. Lu Ming was just his guard. In the end, he was just his dog. Now, he actually dared to say that in front of the other commanders and the monarch. This made him extremely embarrassed. His heart was filled with cold killing intent, and he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. If it was any other guard, they would definitely not dare to disobey him. They had to do whatever he said. Haha, This brat is seeking his own death. At the side, Blue laughed wildly in his heart. He did not expect Lu Ming to be so stupid. He was simply courting death. No need to talk nonsense. Even if he kneels in front of me today, he must die. At this moment, the non-human king spoke coldly. Yi Yang's expression turned even uglier. He looked around and his eyes lit up. Everyone, this guard of mine is arrogant and disregards his superiors. What's the point of keeping such a person? I will now expel him from the ranks of my guards. If you have any grudges with him, you can go and find him. It has nothing to do with me. Lu Ming, hand over your guard token. Yang looked at Lu Ming coldly. They actually expelled him from the ranks of the guards. This Yang is decisive. However, this way, he can avoid a battle with Commander Luomo. It's a wise choice. That's right. If it were me, that would be the only thing I could do. I would be courting death if I fought with Commander Rama. The surrounding commanders were all discussing. The country ruler, who was sitting at the top, had a calm expression. He was drinking his wine and no one knew what he was thinking. Hey, race your guard token. Lu Ming took out the guard token and threw it to Yang. Commander Rama, Lu Ming is no longer my guard. If you have any problems, you can look for him. Commander Yang looked at Commander Rama with a flattering expression. Hee, this commander is really trash. The non-human king laughed in disdain. Yi Yang's expression was ugly, but he did not dare to refute. The other party was Rama's guard. Offending him was equivalent to offending Rama. It's all because of Lu Ming. Otherwise, I wouldn't be like this. Yang looked at Lu Ming coldly, his killing intent flashing. This time, he had kicked Lu Ming out of the ranks of guards in public. Not only did he have one less person on his side, but he was also afraid that the king's impression of him was not good. This time, it was definitely impossible for him to increase his ranking. He was afraid that his ranking would even fall and he would be suppressed by the commander of the border city. He blamed everything on Lu Ming. You still want to kill me? Lu Ming naturally felt Yi Yang's murderous intent. There was also a murderous intent in Lu Ming's eyes. Your Majesty, in going to challenge Lu Ming to settle my personal grudges. Please allow me to do so. The non-human king cupped his fists towards the king. Sure. The country ruler said indifferently. They were just a few commander guards, so he didn't take them to heart. Buzz. The non-human king leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, come up and fight. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He moved and leaped onto the fighting ring. Even if the other party didn't challenge him, he would still find an opportunity to challenge the other party. Alien races were killed without mercy. Every time they killed one, the strength of the non-humans would be reduced. Boom. A powerful aura erupted from the non-human king. Second-level void transformation stage. What a powerful aura. What a terrifying strength. It's only a guard of Commander Rama, but he actually has the strength of a second-level void transformation stage martial artist. The other commanders all cried out in alarm. A second-level void transformation stage martial artist was equivalent to a 2-star heavenly emperor. One had to know that some of the other commanders were only at the first level of the void transformation stage and some were at the second level of the void transformation stage. On the other hand, even a guard of Commander Rama was at the second-level void transformation stage. The difference between them was too great. Luo Mo's lips curled into a cold smile. This was his trump card. This time, he was going to defeat Commander Yu Zhan and obtain the first place. Kill. Destruction sword formation. The non-human king shouted coldly. Beams of destructive light shot out from his third eye and turned into combat swords. They formed a sword formation and charged at Lu Ming. Good. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He swung his fist and threw dozens of punches in a row. This time, Lu Ming did not use the way of domination. Instead, he simply used his physical strength. Boom, boom. After dozens of continuous explosions, Lu Ming shook off the sword formation, but he also retreated continuously. He actually blocked it. The other commanders were shocked. Lu Ming had actually blocked the opponent's attack. This was enough to prove that Lu Ming was also at the Heavenly Emperor realm. That Yang has a guard at the Transformation Void Martial stage. The commander of the border city had a dark look in his eyes. Detestable! Yang roared. The stronger Lu Ming's performance was, the more uncomfortable he felt. He could not help but think how good it would have been if Lu Ming had not offended Rama's guards. Then he would have been able to climb up the ranking. That country ruler Feng Ming was also interested. He had never seen Lu Ming and the foreign tribe's royal family before. He could not help but feel curious about the fact that Feng Ming country suddenly had 2 void transformation stage existences. Chapter 2470 Challenging Yang, Kill. The leader of the non-human race roared. His third eye shone even brighter. Rays of light burst out and condensed into more and more combat swords, which flew toward Lu Ming. At the same time, a purple sword appeared in his hand. He became one with the sword and turned into a purple stream of light, charging toward Lu Ming. He exploded with all his strength and wanted to kill Lu Ming as soon as possible. It seems that I'm not a match for a 2-star celestial emperor with just the strength of my physical body. Lu Ming had an idea. Then he clenched his fist in the air. The purple gold ruler's power gathered and turned into a long spear. Buzz! Lu Ming swept his long spear in all directions, and the sword gleam that was slashing at him was shattered. Clang! Lu Ming's long spear collided with the sword radiance of the non-human king and a shocking boom was heard. The non-human king's body trembled violently, and his eyes were filled with horror as he was sent flying by Lu Ming's slap. Lu Ming charged forward with his spear like a bolt of lightning, his speed extremely fast. The non-human royal could not avoid it at all. Lu Ming's spear pierced through his head between his eyebrows. A 2-star heavenly emperor from the royal non-human race had died. Boom! Yang suddenly stood up from his seat, his face full of shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was so powerful that he could kill a 2nd-level void transformation stage expert. One had to know that he himself was only at the 2nd-level void transformation. The others were also shocked. Someone actually expelled such an expert from the ranks of the guards. It seems like someone is very confident. The commander of the border city sneered. Commander Yang's expression turned ugly. At that moment he felt a tinge of regret. If he had known that Lu Ming was so powerful, he would have considered it. With a helper like Lu Ming, he would definitely be able to rank higher in the commander ranking. Even if he offended Commander Rama, it was not unacceptable. However, it was too late to regret now. Damn it! Commander Rama's anger and killing intent soared. Lu Ming had actually killed a non-human king, causing him to lose an important general. This time, it would have a huge impact on his attempt to get first place. Ha, Rama! It seems like your subordinate has challenged someone he shouldn't have. Commander Yuzhan laughed out loud. Among these people, he was the happiest. Of the 13 commanders, only Commander Rama was a threat to him. Now that Commander Rama had lost a powerful helper, he was naturally happy. Don't think that just because I'm short of a guard, I'm not your match. Commander Rama said coldly as his eyes flickered with a fierce light. After killing the non-human king, Lu Ming reached out and took his storage bracelet. He did not leave the fighting ring. He glanced at Commander Yang coldly, then turned to the king and cupped his fists. Your Majesty, Lu Ming would like to ask if it is possible for me to challenge a commander now? Lu Ming's words shocked some of the commanders. Lu Ming wanted to challenge the commander? Was he trying to ascend to the position of commander? Commander Yang was especially shocked. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes. He was afraid. He was afraid that Lu Ming would challenge him. Impudent! Who do you think you are? You're not even a commander's guard, yet you still want to challenge a commander? This is the commander's assembly, why aren't you getting lost? Commander Yang stood up and chided. If I remember correctly, the rule of Feng Ming country states that anyone can challenge the commander. As long as they defeat and kill the other party, they can replace the other party's position. Did I remember wrongly? Lu Ming cast a glance at Commander Yang and said sarcastically, of course you can. At this moment, Monarch Feng Ming laughed out loud. He was naturally happy to see the challenges between his subordinates. Only in this way, the strong would replace the weak, and his country of Feng Ming would become stronger and stronger. Which commander do you want to challenge? Asked King Feng Ming. Many of the 13 commanders present became nervous. I want to challenge Commander Yi Yang. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and pointed at Yi Yang. Yi Yang's face turned pale and his eyes were filled with fear. He could not fathom Lu Ming's combat strength at all. He had just killed a second-level void transformation stage expert. He knew that he was stronger than the foreign tribe's royal family, but not by much. He was not confident that he could defeat Lu Ming. Damn it, damn it. Commander Yi Yang roared in his heart. He was filled with regret. If he had known this would happen, he would not have taken Lu Ming in as his guard. He blamed everything on Lu Ming. He did not think about why Lu Ming had challenged him. He felt that everything he had done was right. Yi Yang, why aren't you accepting the challenge? Are you afraid of your own guard? The commander of the border city sneered. Commander Yi Yang's face turned red. In the end, he was helpless. He had to fight this battle. Otherwise, he would not be able to survive in Feng Ming country. Buzz. He leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at Lu Ming coldly. He held a combat sword in each of his hands. The two combat swords emitted a dark light. All of a sudden, Commander Yi Yang made his move. He attacked first. His two combat swords turned into two cold venomous snakes and charged at Lu Ming. At the same time, his lower body, the snake tail, was like a sharp long sword, stabbing toward Lu Ming. When they worked together, it was impossible to guard against. However, Lu Ming did not need to defend at all. He could just attack. Buzz. The long spear vibrated and Lu Ming swept it out. The purple-gold spear expanded as it swept out. It became thousands of meters long and crushed towards Commander Yi Yang. No matter how tricky Yi Yang's attack was, it was useless. In the face of such a brutal attack, he could only take it head-on. The combat sword in his hands slashed continuously. In an instant, he had slashed more than 1,000 times, hitting the long spear condensed by Lu Ming's power of domination and letting out a dense roar. But even so, Commander Yi Yang was still sent flying by the terrifying power of the spear. His face turned pale. Bang! Lu Ming stepped on the fighting ring and leaped high into the air. He held the spear with both hands and smashed it down at Yi Yang with the force of Mount Tai. A huge spear ray pressed down like a mountain range. Commander Yi Yang roared and used all his strength. His body was covered in a layer of green light. The next moment, he actually turned into a huge python and soared into the sky. Boom! The long spear collided heavily with the python. The python screamed and fell off the fighting ring, revealing Yi Yang's appearance again. At this moment, his breathing was weak and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His face was filled with fear. Lu Ming became one with his spear and turned into a spear ray, charging towards Yi Yang. No, no, I admit defeat, Commander Yi Yang screamed in fear. However, Lu Ming's long spear did not stop at all. It pierced through Commander Yi Yang. You, Commander Yi Yang's eyes widened and he looked at Lu Ming in horror. Then he stopped breathing. Commander Yi Yang, an expert at the second-level void transformation stage, chased Lu Ming away because he was afraid of Commander Rama. However, he attracted a fatal disaster for himself. Chapter 2470. New ranking. Yi Yang was dead. Some of the commanders heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Lu Ming with a grave expression. To be able to kill Yi Yang, his combat power had already surpassed most of the commanders. Only some of the higher-ranked commanders could do it. Commander Rama's eyes were cold, but he didn't say anything. Among the crowd, Bamboo and Liao Min were the most shocked. So strong, he's so strong? How did this happen? Blue muttered, his eyes filled with shock. At the thought that he had offended Lu Ming previously, he could not help but shiver. Lu Ming could even kill Commander Yi Yang. It would be a piece of cake to kill him. Alright, Lu Ming, you've killed Yi Yang and replaced him. You're temporarily ranked 9th. You can participate in the challenge of the General Assembly later, King Feng Ming announced. Many thanks, country ruler. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks and then returned to the stands. This subordinate pays his respects to Lord Commander. As soon as Lu Ming returned to the grandstand, Liao Min bowed respectfully. Now that Lu Ming had taken over Yi Yang's position and became a commander, he was their immediate superior. Liao Min sighed secretly. Not long ago, Lu Ming was the same as them, just a guard. But now, he had become a commander and replaced Yi Yang's position. This was the world of cultivation. The strong were respected. As long as one had the strength, reputation and status were at their fingertips. Your subordinate greets Lord Commander. At the side, Blue also hurriedly bowed, his head deeply lowered in respect. Lu Ming cast an indifferent glance at Blue. Blue's body trembled and he broke out in cold sweat. No need to be so polite, sit down. Lu Ming waved his hand. Then he sat down. The challenge continued. It was still the commander of the border city who issued the challenge. Originally, the border city's commander was going to challenge Yang, but now that Yang was dead, the commander had become Lu Ming. He had seen Lu Ming's combat strength just now. He knew that he was no match for Lu Ming. Therefore, he skipped Lu Ming and challenged the 8th-ranked commander. Naturally, he was defeated. Next, it was Lu Ming's turn to challenge. I give up the challenge, Lu Ming said loudly. Since he had already obtained the commander's position, Lu Ming had no intention of continuing the challenge. Going too far was as bad as not going too far. He understood this principle. He could already do a lot of things with this commander's position. Lu Ming's decision to give up on the challenge delighted some of the commanders, especially those who were ranked before him. The challenge continued. The next challenge did not have much suspense. 100 years was too short for experts like them. Their strength would not change much. Very quickly, it was Rama's turn to challenge. Will he challenge Lu Ming first? Many people thought so. Lu Ming had just killed one of Rama's powerful guards. Given Rama's character, he would not let Lu Ming off so easily. However, Rama took a few glances at Lu Ming and did not challenge him. After all, Lu Ming's strength still made Luo Mo somewhat apprehensive. He was afraid that after challenging Lu Ming, he would then challenge Commander Yu Zhan and not be at his peak. Therefore, he did not challenge Lu Ming. Instead, he looked at Yu Zhan. As expected, the guards that Rama sent out after him were all guards that challenged Commander Yu Zhan. The two sides were locked in battle. However, Commander Rama still lost a guard. The other party still had a guard, but Rama no longer had a guard. He had to fight himself. Luo Mo leaped onto the battle platform and looked at Commander Yu Zhan. Yu Zhan, come down and fight. Defeat my guard first, Yu Zhan said coldly. After which, his guard leaped onto the fighting stage. The last guard under Yu Zhan's command was also a Heavenly Emperor expert, but he was only a 1-star Heavenly Emperor. A first-level void transformation martial artist wants to consume my energy? You must be dreaming. Get lost. That Luo Mo shouted loudly and sent out a palm strike. The terrifying power of the palm strike was like an avalanche as it surged towards the other party. Third-level void transformation stage. Commander Rama's cultivation base was at the third-level void transformation stage, which was equivalent to a 3-star Heavenly Emperor. He was much stronger than a 1-star Heavenly Emperor. Although the other party had used all his means, he was still unable to change the outcome. He was blasted off the fighting ring by Rama's palm force. Yu Zhan, do it yourself. Don't call these small fries over. Loma looked at Commander Yu Zhan, radiating a powerful battle intent. You haven't fought for 100 years. Let's see where your confidence comes from. Commander Yu Zhan spoke coldly. With a move of his body, he appeared on the battle platform, standing opposite to Commander Luoma. Boom. Both of them burst out with powerful auras. Their auras collided and produced a violent boom. Without a doubt, Commander Yu Zhan was also a 3-star Heavenly Emperor. Boom. Suddenly, the two of them moved. They turned into 2 rays of light and fiercely collided with each other, starting an intense battle. Bang, bang. The attacks of the two men kept clashing against each other, and the fighting ring was filled with endless rumbles. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged dozens of moves. Then, there was a violent explosion and the two of them retreated rapidly. The only difference was that Yuzhan had retreated over 20 steps, while Rama had only retreated a dozen steps. Ramfi, your cultivation base. Commander Yuzhan looked at Commander Luo Mo in shock, his eyes filled with disbelief. Haha, Yuzhan, I'm only a step away from the 4th level of the void transformation stage now. Let's see how you're going to fight me. Luo Mo laughed madly and was filled with confidence. This time around, he was confident that he could defeat Yuzhan, not only because of that royal member of the foreign race, but also because of his own strength. In the past 100 years, his cultivation had finally made another breakthrough. He was only one step away from the 4th level void transformation stage and had already reached the limit of the 3rd level void transformation stage. His combat strength had already surpassed Yuzhan. The other commanders were also extremely shocked. This time, the ranking of the commanders was probably going to change. Yuzhan, be defeated. Commander Luoma continued to charge at Commander Yuzhan. Don't even think about it. Commander Yuzhan roared in anger, and the two of them once again engaged in an intense battle. However, although Luo Mo was stronger, he wasn't that much stronger. Under Yuzhan's desperate resistance, it wouldn't be easy for Luo Mo to obtain victory. The two of them exchanged more than 200 moves. In the end, Commander Yuzhan was no match for Commander Lama and was defeated. Commander Yuzhan returned to the grandstand with an unsightly expression and circulated his martial arts to treat his injuries. Alright, this time's commanders' meeting has ended. Next, I will announce the rankings of the commanders for the next 100 years, said King Fengming. Everyone's spirits were lifted. The new ranking was about to be released, and this would affect the distribution of benefits later. First place, Rama. King Fengming announced the first place. It's really Rama. Many people were shocked. Although Luo Mo had lost a guard this time, he was still extremely powerful. He was invincible among the 13 commanders. It was normal for him to be ranked first after defeating Commander Yuzhan. Commander Yuzhan's face turned gloomy, while Commander Lama laughed out loud before thanking Monarch Fengming. Chapter 2471 Bullying. Second place, Yuzhan. Third place, shortly. Ninth place, Lu Ming. Very soon, Lu Ming had announced the ranking of all the commanders. There was not much change in the rankings. The only ones that had changed were Luo Mo and Yuzhan, as well as Lu Ming, who had killed Yang and replaced his position. Alright, the General Assembly has ended. My beloved subjects, please enjoy your meal. Country ruler Fengming smiled and ordered his men to serve all sorts of delicacies. It wasn't until the next day that the crowd dispersed. Lu Ming brought Bamboo and Liao Min back to the governor's manor. Throughout the journey, Bin Biu was trembling with fear, afraid that Lu Ming would find trouble with him. This subordinate pays his respects to the commander. The moment he returned to the governor's manor, he saw the other guards leading the people from the governor's manor to welcome Lu Ming respectfully. Obviously, they had already received the news that Yi Yang had died in Lu Ming's hands and that Lu Ming had inherited the position of commander. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. They'll still need to rely on you to do things for me in the future. Lu Ming smiled. I'm willing to die for the commander. Blue was one step ahead. I'm willing to die for the commander. The others also shouted. Alright, well, stay in the imperial capital for now. You guys go help me with something. Send people to find these three-eyed people. Lu Ming took out a jade talisman. The jade talisman glowed and many pictures appeared in the air. These pictures were the appearances of the different races of the foreign races. When you find these people, don't beat the grass and alert the snake. Come back and report to me. Lu Ming instructed. Yes. Everyone bowed and Lu Ming dismissed them. Lu Ming picked a room. After he entered the room, a storage ring appeared in his hand. This storage ring belonged to Yang. Lu Ming was looking forward to it. He wondered how many resources Yang had in his storage ring. Lu Ming's spiritual senses entered and he began to count. Not long after, Lu Ming's face broke into a smile. 3 million divine stones. There were 3 million divine stones in Yi Yang's storage ring, which was equivalent to 300 billion supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. These resources were enough for him to break through to the 4-star Great Emperor realm, or even the 5-star Great Emperor realm. However, Yi Yang's storage ring didn't have any combat weapons that were equivalent to the Heavenly Dao soldiers. There were only weapons that were equivalent to Great Emperor weapons. It seemed that weapons that were equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers were relatively precious even in Netherworld Mountain. However, Lu Ming was already quite satisfied. Next, he only needed to send people to search for the alien races. If they could be killed, Lu Ming would kill them directly. However, it would be more troublesome to find living beings from the Heaven Realm. The creatures of the Heaven Realm were closer to the creatures of Netherworld Mountain. Unless he met them in person and could sense the aura of the Heaven Realm on them, it would be difficult for others to find them. Also, Lu Ming wanted to find out more about the cursed land in the capital of Fengming. He wanted to find an opportunity to enter it. However, these things could not be rushed. He had to take it one step at a time. Lu Ming closed his eyes and began to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and walked out. However, after Lu Ming walked around for a while, he felt a little strange. The number of people in the governor's manor had decreased. At that moment, a figure flashed and Liao Min appeared not far away. "Greetings, Commander." Liao Min saluted, but her expression was not good. "What's wrong, Liao Min? Why do I feel that the number of people in the governor's manor has decreased by a lot?" Lu Ming asked. "Commander, something has happened," Liao Min said with an ugly expression. "Oh, what happened?" Lu Ming asked, his expression still calm. "Some time ago, Commander Rama released news that you killed his trusted guard. He won't let you off so easily. He'll kill you sooner or later," Liao Min said. And then, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. One could not tell what he was thinking. After that, Rama continued to say that the fault lies with you and it has nothing to do with the other people in the governor's manor. As long as the others submit to him, he would let bygones be bygones and entrust them with heavy responsibilities. Liao Min answered. "And then, those people all ran to Rama?" Lu Ming said with a smile. However, there was a cold glint in the depths of his eyes. "That's right. Blue was the first to join Rama. During this period of time he has been encouraging others to join him. Now, 10 out of the 18 guards have joined Rama." Liao Min gritted her teeth and said, "Hee Rama," Lu Ming sneered. He didn't want to go too far, but some people were forcing him. At this moment, outside the governor's manor, a clamor suddenly rang out. Lu Ming extended his spiritual sense out and saw a group of people surrounding the entrance of the governor's manor. Blue was one of the few people in the lead. In addition, there were a few people who were the guards under Rama. Lu Ming's subordinates and a few guards stopped them at the door. "You people are still so stubborn. Are you following Lu Ming to your deaths?" Blue glanced at the guards and sneered. The guards' expressions were ugly and they were hesitating. As the leader of the 13 commanders, Commander Rama is very powerful. Lu Ming can't compare to him at all. Lu Ming will die sooner or later for offending Commander Rama. If you continue to follow him, you'll only be sending yourselves to your deaths. A wise man submits to circumstances. You'd better submit to Commander Rama as soon as possible. Blue continued. "Blue, you traitor!" Liao Min couldn't stand it anymore. She rushed out and scolded. "Traitor? What a joke! Lu Ming is going to die. Why should I accompany him to his death? Liao Min, you'd better quickly submit to Lord Rama. I can put in a few good words for you and get you a job. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state." Blue sneered as he scanned Liao Min with a pair of fiery eyes. Liao Min was furious and her face turned red. "I'll give you one last chance. You only have 3 days. If you don't surrender to Lord Rama after 3 days, you'll die with Lu Ming." Blue said coldly. "Oh really? I'd like to see what you're capable of." A cold voice was heard. Lu Ming stepped out. "Lu Ming!" At the sight of Lu Ming, Blue's eyes narrowed. He subconsciously took a few steps back, his eyes filled with fear. However, the next moment he thought of something. His courage grew and he stopped. Blue, I've already given you a chance. It's a pity that you didn't cherish it. Lu Ming said coldly, his body exuding a cold, murderous intent. Lu Ming, what do you want to do? I'm now Lord Rama's guard. You dare to touch me? You're looking for death. Blue shouted. Didn't I already kill one of Rama's guards? Lu Ming sneered. You? Blue's expression changed. Lu Ming, Lord Rama has spoken. If you go and beg for his forgiveness now, then join him and work for him, he might consider sparing you. One of the Romo guards beside Blue said. This person had the cultivation base of a one-star heavenly emperor. Chapter 2473 Killing his way to the door? He's asking me to help him? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled up slightly, revealing a mocking expression. All of you, go back and pass a message to him. Tell him that I, Lu Ming, will give him 3 days' time. Within 3 days, he must come and kneel before me to apologize. After that, he must submit to me and work for me. Otherwise, 3 days later, I will storm his governor's manor and take his dog life. What? Lu Ming's words stunned everyone. Luo Mo's words were to get Lu Ming to join him and work for him. Now, Lu Ming had actually asked Rama to kneel and apologize and then help Lu Ming with his work. This contrast stunned everyone, and they thought they had heard wrong. What did you just say? One of the Rama guards pointed at Lu Ming with a trembling finger. He thought that he was dreaming. Go back and tell them to get lost. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Lu Ming, you're so stubborn. You're asking for death. Liao Min, do you see that? Lu Ming is arrogant and stubborn. He's asking for death and he's going to bring all of you down with him. If you don't surrender now, he'll put in a few good words for you in front of Commander Rama. Blue shouted. Do you want to surrender? Lu Ming looked at Liao Min. I'm willing to die for you, Commander. Liao Min gritted her teeth and cupped her fists. What about you guys? Lu Ming looked at the remaining guards. The guards' expressions changed. Then, they gritted their teeth and said, I'm willing to die for you, Commander. All right. Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. You guys? You are so stubborn, you're seeking death. Blue shouted. Glowing. Lu Ming said coldly. He suddenly moved and appeared in front of Blue, pointing his finger. A burst of energy shot out, directly piercing through Blue's dantian. Blue's eyes widened and he looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Then he started to scream crazily. He screamed wildly. He did not expect that Lu Ming would really dare to attack him now that he had become Rama's guard. His heart was filled with despair. Although the cultivation of the people of Netherworld Mountain was different from that of the Heaven Realm, there was one thing in common. That was, the dantian was still a vital point, a place to store energy. If his dantian was destroyed, his cultivation base would be crippled. I'm not killing you now because I want you to see how I'm going to destroy Rama. Get lost. Lu Ming shouted coldly and threw Blue out. The others were incomparably terrified, and they hurriedly retreated with Blue. Lu Ming did not say anything. He turned around and returned to the governor's manor. As for Lu Ming's request for Rama to kneel and apologize, if he did not apologize, the news that he would attack the Rama residence in 3 days spread like a whirlwind throughout the entire capital. The capital was shaken. It had only been a few days since the meeting of the commanders. Many of the commanders had not returned to their respective territories. They were all shocked and were looking forward to the next development of the situation. Damn it! Rama's angry roar came from the governor's manor. Lu Ming, you brat, how dare you? You're seeking your own death. Let's see how you're going to kill me in 3 days. Rama roared in anger as his cold, killing intent enveloped the entire governor's manor. Countless experts in the capital were watching. The atmosphere in the capital was extremely tense. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Let's go. Follow me to the Romos governor's manor. Lu Ming strode out of the commander's residence and headed for the Rama residence. Liao Min and the other guards gritted their teeth and followed Lu Ming. They were taking a gamble. They realized that Lu Ming was too relaxed these few days. This wasn't done on purpose. He was really relaxed. If they were not confident, they would not be so relaxed. Therefore, they took a gamble. They bet that Lu Ming had the confidence to deal with Rama. If they bet correctly, they would definitely be successful. Lu Ming has set off. The moment Lu Ming came out, the entire capital was in an uproar. Countless people, both openly and secretly, followed Lu Ming as he headed for the Romos governor's manor. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived at the Romos governor's manor. The Romos governor's manor had already been heavily surrounded, both inside and outside. Stop! Outside the Romos governor's manor, someone stopped Lu Ming. Get lost, die! Lu Ming shouted coldly and took a step forward. A terrifying aura burst out, forming a storm-like force that rushed forward. Boom! Those people guarding the gate were directly sent flying out by the force. Lu Ming strode in. Inside the gate was a wide courtyard, which was already full of people. At the very top, Luomo was sitting on an armchair. On both sides of him were expert guards. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the room and he realized that Blue was there as well. Blue was glaring at Lu Ming with a venomous look. Lu Ming, are you here to apologize to me? Luomo sneered. Killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. I'm here to take your dog head. Lu Ming said coldly. How dare you? You're looking for death. How dare you be so rude to Commander Rama? Luomo's guards all shouted. However, when Lu Ming's cold gaze swept across them, their expressions changed drastically and they broke out in cold sweat. Now, I'll give you all a chance. I'll give you 10 breaths to consider. After 10 breaths, surrender to me and I'll let bygones be bygones. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the surroundings, looking as if he did not care about Rama at all. Haha. Luomo was so angry that he laughed. He stood up from his chair and a violent aura spread out, causing everyone to feel great pressure. Luomo had already reached the peak of the 3rd-level void transformation stage. In Fengming country, other than the king, no one was his match. They're about to make their move. Outside the governor's manor, the other governors and experts were all paying close attention. At this moment, their hearts trembled. Kill him. Blue roared in his heart and could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. Today, I will make you wish you were dead. Luomo said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed toward Lu Ming. Buzz! A snow-white scimitar appeared in Rama's hand. It was extremely sharp and he slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming clenched his fist and condensed a long spear with the way of domination. He swept the spear out. Clang! The two attacks collided, creating a terrifying shockwave that swept in all directions. Quickly retreat. The surrounding people retreated frantically, afraid of being dragged in. With a loud boom, Lu Ming and Rama both took a few steps back. We're on par. How is that possible? Many people were shocked. Lu Ming could actually fight to a draw with Rama. They finally knew why Lu Ming dared to come all the way here. It turned out that he had enough capital. Kill! Luomo roared and unleashed his combat strength to the maximum as he charged toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming held his long spear and charged over. Lu Ming did not use his physical strength. He only used the way of the master to fight. Now that Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the 3-star Great Emperor level, he could suppress an ordinary 3-star Heavenly Emperor with the Tao of Domination alone. Chapter 2474. Killing Rama. The scimitar in Rama's hand continued to slash out. His saber technique was fierce and sharp. He aimed at Lu Ming's vital parts from a tricky angle. However, Lu Ming's long spear shook and turned into rays of spear light, blocking all the saber lights. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves. The two of them fought from the courtyard of the governor's mansion up into the sky, their chi spreading out in all directions like a storm. However, Luomo's figure was continuously pushed back as the energy spread out. Every time he collided with Lu Ming's long spear, he would have to take a step back. After dozens of moves, he had already taken dozens of steps back. Damn it, how is this possible? How can he be so strong? Luo Mo roared in his heart. With his cultivation base at the peak of the third-level void transformation stage, only the king of Fengming could suppress him in Fengming country. Now, Lu Ming, who did not seem to have a high cultivation base, actually had a stronger combat strength than him. He could not believe it. Impossible! Blue, who was in the crowd, roared in his heart. His face was completely twisted. His cultivation had been crippled by Lu Ming. He was looking forward to Rama defeating Lu Ming and even crippling Lu Ming's cultivation so that Lu Ming would be better off dead. Unfortunately, his wish was destined to never come true. Liao Min and the others were overjoyed. They knew that they had made the right bet. Lu Ming was completely capable of dealing with Rama. They were not afraid. Kill, kill, die. Luo Mo roared in the sky as he used all his strength. His body was even surrounded by a blood-red mist. The scimitar in his hand was also covered with a layer of blood-red light. Its power was instantly increased by a level and it could actually fight with Lu Ming without being at a disadvantage. The creatures in Netherworld Mountain are much stronger than those in the Heaven Realm or the Evil God Realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was a little surprised. In the outside world, given Lu Ming's combat strength, he could probably kill a 3-star Celestial the Arch with the Tao of Domination and many moves, unless the other party was shockingly talented. But now, he could only barely gain an advantage against Rama with his ruler's Tao. The creatures of Netherworld Mountain cultivated extremely condensed power. The combat skills they cultivated, when combined with that power, were shockingly powerful and invincible. In this aspect, he was a little like Xian Yanqing. However, Xian Yanqing was stronger. Rama, is this your full strength? Then let's end this. Lu Ming said coldly. Buzz. At this moment, all the muscles and bones in his body started to shake. At the same time, the long spear in his hand disappeared and was replaced by the Great Desolation Spear. Lu Ming used his physical strength, the Heaven Tao Soldier, and the Great Desolation Spear. With the two enhancements, Lu Ming's combat strength increased tremendously. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear swept out and collided with Luo Mo's scimitar, causing a shocking explosion. Buzz! The scimitar in Rama's hand kept shaking. The terrifying power sent him flying. His arm was almost broken. The chi and blood in his body churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Weapon? Luo Mo was shocked. Lu Ming did not give Rama any chance to catch his breath. He kept stabbing with the Great Desolation Spear. The spear's gleam was thousands of miles long and pierced through the space, aiming at Rama. Rama was shocked and tried to block frantically. However, he could not block it at all. Every time he blocked a spear radiance, he would be sent flying. After blocking more than a dozen of them, there was finally an opening. Lu Ming's spear pierced through his chest, leaving a large hole in it. Luo Mo spat out a mouthful of blood. Under the destructive power, half of his body exploded. He was severely injured, and his strength was greatly reduced. Lu Ming stepped in the air and swept the Great Desolation Spear. No, no, I'm willing to surrender, Rama shouted in fear. He understood that he was not Lu Ming's match. If he did not surrender, he would die. I've given you a chance before, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Lu Ming said coldly. He would not give his opponent another chance. He wanted to establish his might with this battle. The long spear carried a terrifying power as it crushed over. Luo Mo's combat power was greatly reduced, and he was unable to avoid it. He could only block with his scimitar. Thump! The Great Desolation Spear swept across his curved blade and struck his body heavily. He was sent flying like a broken sack. In the process of flying, his body exploded into several pieces. Kill! Lu Ming thrust his spear across the air. A ray of spear light pierced through the void and destroyed Rama's soul. Then, a wave of energy rolled and Rama's storage ring was kept in his hand. Luo Mo was dead. The entire place was silent. Everyone knew that with Rama's death, the rankings of the remaining commanders would definitely change. Plop! In the crowd, Blue's body went limp and he fell to the ground, his face filled with despair. Lu Ming cast a cold glance at Blue but did not kill him. A cripple should be left to fend for himself. The commander is mighty. The commander is invincible, Liao Min shouted in excitement. Following that, the other guards who did not betray Lu Ming also shouted in excitement. They knew that they had made the right bet, so they were naturally excited. Lu Ming's gaze swept across Rama's subordinates and guards. Under Lu Ming's gaze, the guards and subordinates shivered and broke out in cold sweat. If any of you want to avenge Rama, feel free to attack. I'll take you all on, Lu Ming said coldly. Those people's faces were covered with cold sweat. The commander is invincible. We are willing to serve the commander. Immediately, a few people rushed out and saluted Lu Ming respectfully. You guys still have the face to serve the commander. You're really shameless. Liao Min berated them. This was because these people were Lu Ming's guards and they had previously sided with Rama. Hey! Lu Ming waved his hand and stopped Liao Min. He smiled and said, "This commander is magnanimous. As long as you come back and do your best for this commander, I will let bygones be bygones." To Lu Ming, Netherworld Mountain was just a passerby. He would not stay there for long. The most important thing for him now was to borrow the power here to find foreign races and obtain information about the cursed lands to obtain opportunities. Therefore, he didn't care whether the other party would betray him or what kind of heart he had. As long as he could use him, it was fine. He had already crippled Blue and killed Rama. It was enough to kill the chicken to warn the monkeys. Many thanks, Commander. The few of them were ecstatic. You're the same. Surrender to me now and work for me, and I'll let bygones be bygones. Lu Ming looked at Rama's subordinates. Those people looked at each other, then saluted Lu Ming in unison. They said loudly, "I'm willing to serve the commander. I'm willing to serve the commander." Instantly, all of Rama's subordinates saluted Lu Ming to show their allegiance. At this moment, an old man in official robes flew over and said, "The king has given the order to appoint Lu Ming as the first commander. He will be in charge of all the armies and territories of Rama." Chapter 2475 Identity discovered. It was obvious that King Feng Ming had been paying attention to this matter. As soon as Lu Ming won, King Feng Ming immediately sent someone to confer Lu Ming the title of first commander and to rope him in. "Many thanks, country ruler." Lu Ming cupped his fists. "Congratulations, Commander Lu. Congratulations." The other commanders also came forward to congratulate Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded in response. Not long after, the crowd dispersed and Lu Ming officially took charge of the governor's manor, the army, and the territory of Rama. 2 days later, Lu Ming began to send people to investigate the foreign races in Feng Ming country. He also sent people to look for clues about the cursed land. There were many cursed lands in Netherworld Mountain, and the living beings of Netherworld Mountain could not enter. In Feng Ming country, there was a cursed land that was heavily guarded by Feng Ming country ruler. After more than 10 days, there was finally news that they had found traces of foreign races in the north of Feng Ming. According to their subordinates, there were a total of 3 alien races. Their cultivation levels were unknown, but they did not disturb them. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes and he set off immediately. There was no reason for him to let the alien races go. Lu Ming charged over directly. In a valley, 3 non-humans were discussing how to enter the capital of Feng Ming and find an opportunity to enter the cursed land. However, these 3 alien races weren't particularly strong. 2 of them were 1-star heavenly emperors, and the other was a great emperor. Lu Ming could sense the other party's cultivation. He did not hesitate and attacked immediately. Bush, bush, bush. Lu Ming rushed into the sky and shot out 3 spearlights. Without any suspense, the 3 foreign kinds were killed immediately. Then, he took the other party's storage ring and burned the alien's corpse to ashes. Lu Ming left the place. After that, there were no more traces of foreign races in Feng Ming. Netherworld Mountain was huge, and Feng Ming country was only a small part of it. This time, there were not many outsiders who came in. There were only a few thousand of them, and they were scattered. Naturally, there were not many people from Feng Ming country. Lu Ming put more energy into the cursed land. Lu Ming pondered on how to find an opportunity to sneak into the cursed land. At this moment, Monarch Feng Ming sent someone to summon Lu Ming. Within the imperial palace, in a large hall, Monarch Feng Ming sat on the high seat. Lu Ming walked into the hall and cupped his fists. Lu Ming greets the country ruler. "Commander Lu, please take a seat." King Feng Ming waved his hand, an inexplicable smile on his face. Lu Ming sat down at the side. "I wonder why the country ruler has summoned Lu Ming?" Lu Ming asked. King Feng Ming seemed to be smiling but not smiling. He muttered to himself for a moment before he suddenly opened his mouth. "Lu Ming, if I'm not mistaken, you're not from the Netherworld world, are you?" Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, but his face remained calm. Country ruler must be joking. If I'm not from the Yellow Springs world, where would I be from? It came from beyond the heavens. King Feng Ming opened his mouth and his eyes became even brighter. In the ancient records of my Feng Ming country, there were records that in the distant past, who knows how many years ago, there were people from beyond the heavens who descended. These people from beyond the heavens were not afraid of the cursed land of Netherworld Mountain and could enter and leave freely. As for you, I can't find any information on you. It's as if you appeared out of thin air. After you became the commander, you immediately sent people to investigate some inexplicable people. Most importantly, you've been investigating the cursed lands all this time. No one in the Yellow Springs world is interested in the cursed lands because the people of the Yellow Springs world can't enter these cursed lands. Only people from beyond the heavens are interested in the cursed lands. Am I right? King Feng Ming's eyes were bright as he stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's thoughts turned quickly. He pondered for a while and said, "That's right, I'm indeed from beyond the heavens." Since the other party was already suspicious, there was nothing to hide. It was better to just say it out and negotiate with the other party. He really is from beyond the heavens. King Feng Ming's eyes were incomparably bright as he said excitedly, "I didn't expect it, I didn't expect it. So the ancient records are true. I always thought it was just made up, just a legend." After a long while, Monarch Feng Ming finally calmed down. "Lu Ming, you want to enter the cursed land, don't you?" asked King Feng Ming. "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded and told him the truth. Legend has it that the cursed land was left behind by the most ancient ancestor of the Yellow Springs world. You'll have a great opportunity. Lu Ming, let's work together. They'll let you enter the cursed land, and you'll split the treasures you obtain 50-50. How about it? Said King Feng Ming. "That's right, well split it 50-50. If I don't let you enter the cursed land, you won't be able to enter either. You have to understand this." King Feng Ming said, his body exuding a powerful aura. Monarch Feng Ming was a 4th-level void transformation stage martial artist. He was a peerless expert that was equivalent to a 4-star heavenly emperor. "All right." Lu Ming did not hesitate and nodded. It was a win-win cooperation. Lu Ming did not have to fall out with the other party. "Fine, Commander Lu, you can go back first. I will let you know in a few days." King Feng Ming smiled. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left. Lu Ming returned to the governor's manor. He cultivated while waiting. He was looking forward to the cursed land. However, entering the cursed lands and whether one could gain anything from it still depended on luck. This was because before the myriad tribulation, someone had entered the Yellow Springs world. However, it was too long ago before the myriad tribulation. The heaven realm was probably still in the earliest primordial era. At that time, there were probably not many powerful people, and there were probably not many living creatures that came in. There might be many cursed lands that had not been explored. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Liao Min had something important to report to Lu Ming. "Commander, there are more than 10 people outside saying that they are from your hometown and they want to see you," Liao Min said. "From the same hometown?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Wasn't his fellow villager from the heaven realm? "Quickly let them in," Lu Ming instructed. "Yes." Liao Min nodded and left. A moment later he came in with a dozen people. Senior 6 saints. Lu Ming's eyes lit up when he saw one of them. He went forward to greet him. These people were beings from the heaven realm. Lu Ming recognized one of the elders. He was Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages, a 4-star Heavenly Emperor powerhouse who guarded the 2-world city. Back then, he had met Lu Ming a few times. Apart from Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages, Lu Ming did not recognize the rest of the people. Judging by their cultivation, they were at the Celestial Emperor Realm and Great Emperor Realm. Among them, Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages' cultivation was the highest. Liao Min, you guys can leave. Lu Ming instructed Liao Min and the rest to leave. After Liao Min and the others left, only Lu Ming, 6 Sages, and the others were left in the hall. Senior, are you also in the vicinity of Feng Ming? Lu Ming asked. No, we're here to look for you. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages sighed. Lu Ming, I'm afraid that Feng Ming country is no longer safe. What's going on? Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. The foreign race has already obtained the Dragon People Empire's trust and is in control of the Dragon People Empire's powerful strength. The Celestial said. Chapter 2475 Entering the Cursed Land, Dragon People Empire. Upon hearing this name, Lu Ming's expression changed, and he looked solemn. During this period of time, he had looked up a lot of information in the capital of Feng Ming, so he naturally knew about the Dragon Man Empire. This was a powerful empire that was far stronger than the country of Feng Ming. There were many countries and forces in the Yellow Springs world. These countries and forces were divided into 4 levels according to their strength. The first level was like the Feng Ming Kingdom, where the strongest was a 4-star Heavenly Emperor or even a 5-star Heavenly Emperor. This level of power was the lowest level. The second level was where there were 6-star Heavenly Emperors or even peak 7-star Heavenly Emperors. Such a force was much stronger than the country of Feng Ming. The third level had an invincible master. What was an invincible master? In the Heaven Realm, the Primal Chaos Emperor and the Undying Emperor were invincible. They were half a step into the Martial God Realm. They were invincible below the Martial God Realm, and their strength was even stronger. Titan, a peak Heavenly Emperor. This was the invincible master. There weren't many of such forces in the Yellow Springs world. The fourth level, which was the strongest force, was the force with a martial god. On the surface, there was only one force like this in the entire Yellow Springs world, which was the Yellow Springs Empire, which occupied a large territory in the center of the Yellow Springs world. The Yellow Springs Empire had a martial god, and there was more than one. He was truly supreme and commanded the 8 directions. The Dragon Man Empire was a second-tier power, and it had a peak Heavenly Emperor. Its strength was many times stronger than the Feng Ming Kingdom. And Feng Ming country was a small country near the Dragon People Empire. Now, the foreign race had actually obtained great power in the Dragon Man Empire. Right now, the foreign races have borrowed the strength of the Dragon Man Empire to sweep through some of the surrounding small countries. Many of our Heaven Realms people have died at the hands of the foreign races. We've just escaped. I heard that the commander of the country of Feng Ming is called Lu Ming. I guess that it was you, so I rushed over to take a look. The Celestial said. In that case, I'm afraid that the foreign tribes will soon send experts to Feng Ming. Lu Ming said. I'm afraid so. It said that Feng Ming country has a cursed land. There aren't many small countries around the Dragon People Empire that have a cursed land. They'll definitely be targeted by the other party. The Celestial said. Lu Ming muttered to himself. After a while, he said, It's too much of a pity to leave now. King Feng Ming has already agreed to let me enter the cursed land. Let's wait a little longer. Once we enter the cursed land and take away the opportunities inside, we'll leave immediately. Alright, let's do that. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others nodded in agreement. It would be a waste if he didn't take the opportunity. Moreover, he couldn't leave it for the alien race. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others would be staying in the governor's manor. Fortunately, they did not have to wait long. 2 days later, King Feng Ming sent someone to call for Lu Ming. Lu Ming brought 6 sages and the rest to the palace. Who are they? King Feng Ming looked curiously at 6 sacred Heavenly Venerate and the others. They're my friends. Let's enter the cursed land together. I don't know if there are any dangers in the cursed land, but the more people we have, the higher our chances of success. Lu Ming said. That's good too. However, we can't change our share, said King Feng Ming. Naturally. Lu Ming nodded. Come with me, King Feng Ming said. Then he led a group of people towards the northern side of the palace. After leaving the palace, they arrived at a dense forest. After passing through the forest and a canyon, they saw a tall mountain. Of course, along the way, there were powerhouses standing guard. The cursed land is right in front of us. You guys can go in. As for whether there's any danger inside, I don't know, said King Feng Ming. Lu Ming nodded. Then they walked forward. There was a stone door at the foot of the mountain in front of them. It was half open, and it was pitch black inside. Everyone slowed down and approached carefully. They didn't know if there was any danger in the cursed land, so they naturally didn't dare to be careless. Heavenly Venerate's sixth saint, who had the highest cultivation base, walked in front as the group carefully entered the gate. Behind the door was a passage, and it was so quiet that not a single sound could be heard. The group advanced carefully. This passageway was very long, at least a few thousand meters. After passing through the passageway, they would arrive at a huge underground cave. The cave was empty, with nothing inside. There were some stone doors around the cave. The group did not split up. They still gathered together and walked towards some stone doors. Behind the first stone door was a secret room, but there was nothing inside. The group came to the second stone door, which was also a secret room, but it was also empty. Everyone looked at each other. Could it be that this cursed land had already been visited by someone before the myriad tribulation, and everything inside had been swept clean? The crowd was unwilling to give up and continued to search. Behind some of the stone doors, there was a passage. After walking in, they saw secret rooms. However, these secret rooms were all empty. Everyone looked disappointed. It seemed like they were really going to return empty-handed today. However, they were really unwilling to leave just like that. They planned to turn this place upside down and search for themselves. They continued to walk towards the stone doors that they had not searched. There's a passage behind this. There's no secret chamber, someone suddenly said. As the group walked, they found a passage that led straight ahead. The group followed this path and continued forward. After walking for an unknown distance, the passage became wider, but everyone had no choice but to stop. In front of him, there was a section of the wall and the ground that was filled with strange patterns that emitted a dim light. When these lines were put together, they looked like a huge array. Be careful! Heavenly Venerate's six sages reminded him before talking out a great Emperor weapon and controlling it to fly forward. Buzz! When the Emperor-level weapon passed through the path, the patterns suddenly glowed and countless fine threads filled the path. Some of these threads were snow-white, while some were crimson-red. They were like tiny sword chi, emitting a cold and hot aura. Yes, ice-cold and heat coexisted. The Emperor weapon was enveloped by the threads and kept making ear-piercing sounds. Gotcha! In just a few breaths, the Emperor weapon was covered in cracks before it exploded and turned into dust that scattered in the air. A few gasps could be heard. This was indeed a great formation, and its power was astonishing. A great Emperor weapon would turn into powder in a few breaths' time. Not even a residue was left. If people went in, they would be dead. Those below the Heavenly Emperor realm turned pale. They knew that they couldn't go in and would stop here. They'll try. A burly man stepped out and walked forward. Chapter 2476 Sword Formation. Blocking the way, this burly man's entire body was pitch black, as if it was cast from black iron, and was filled with endless power. This burly man wasn't a human. His true form was a divine beast, a giant ape with infinite strength and strong defense. Moreover, he was a 2-star great emperor. Bang, bang. He was cautious as he walked forward step by step. Finally, he stepped into the area of the great array. Buzz, buzz. The runes seemed to shake and light up. Countless thin threads stabbed at the man like tiny swords. Block it! The burly man roared as world energy filled his body. At the same time, he took out a few defensive emperor weapons and charged forward. However, the power of those tiny sword chi was too strong. In the blink of an eye, at least tens of thousands of tiny sword chi had hit him. The emperor-level weapons around him were covered in cracks in an instant before exploding and turning into dust. Ding, 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 ding. As soon as the emperor weapon was broken, countless tiny sword chi hit the burly man. His body trembled violently, and he was stopped in his tracks. One side of his body was covered in a layer of frost, while the other side was extremely red. The burly man's expression was extremely unsightly. His body trembled and he suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood. His aura rapidly weakened. Not good. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed. He rushed over and pulled the burly man out. Everyone saw that the burly man's body was covered with tiny holes, from which cold and hot air flowed out. The burly man quickly sat down cross-legged, swallowed a pill, and began to heal his injuries. He had been severely injured just now. If not for the help of the 6 sages, he would have definitely died here. The others looked solemn. The power of this grand array was also too powerful. Even a 2-star heavenly emperor couldn't resist it, so it would probably be the same for a 3-star heavenly emperor. They'll try. A 3-star heavenly emperor was unwilling to give up and wanted to try. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it either. His defense was quickly broken by the tiny sword chi, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He was in a slightly better state than the burly man from before. He had taken the initiative to retreat, but he had also suffered considerable injuries. Even a 3-star heavenly emperor couldn't do it, so everyone turned to look at the 6 sages. His cultivation was the highest among the people present, so they could only rely on him now. "I'll do it." Heavenly Venerate 6 sages strode forward and stepped into the array. As soon as he stepped into the formation, a pagoda appeared in his hand and enveloped him within it. Then, he took a big step forward, wanting to rush over. That pagoda was a Heaven Dao soldier. However, the runes in the surroundings shone even brighter as boundless sword chi rushed towards 6 sages. In particular, the sword chi in front of him increased by several times, forming a wall of sword chi in front of him. Ding, ding, ding. The sword chi attacked the Heaven Dao soldier in a frenzy, causing it to shake violently. Bang, bang. Celestial Venerable 6 Saints unleashed his full power and a powerful aura emanated from him. Controlling the Heaven Dao soldier, he strode forward with all his might. However, every step was extremely difficult. After a few minutes, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages had only advanced less than 10 meters. One had to know that this section with the formation was a few hundred meters long. The sounds of the collision grew more and more intense, and the Heaven Dao soldiers also began to shake more and more violently. Sparks flew in all directions, and an ear-piercing sound came from the Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed drastically. Even the Heaven Dao soldiers were damaged and couldn't block it. Heavenly Venerate 6 Saints hurriedly retreated, not daring to advance. Retreating was much easier than advancing. Not long after, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages had already retreated out of the array. He hurriedly checked the Heaven Dao soldier and found that there were a few small holes on it. Heaven Dao soldiers were too hard to come by. Now that they were damaged, it would be extremely troublesome to repair them. "It seems that we can't go over. It's difficult to pass this formation without the cultivation of a 6-star heavenly emperor or above." The others sighed. However, at this moment, a figure stepped out. Lu Ming. The others were shocked. Lu Ming actually wanted to give it a try. If even Heavenly Venerate 6 sages could not do it, how could Lu Ming? Bang, bang. Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast as he stepped into the array. Lu Ming did not use the Heaven Dao soldier. The 6 sages had already proven that the Heaven Dao soldiers were useless. Using them would only damage them. Lu Ming wanted to try it with his own strength. Bush, bush, bush. As soon as Lu Ming entered the formation, countless tiny sword auras rushed toward him. Some of the sword chi was extremely cold, while the others were extremely hot. Lu Ming felt that he was in a furnace where coldness and heat converged. Buzz. The muscles all over Lu Ming's body trembled rapidly. At the same time, he activated the imperishable golden body to block the sword chi. Ding, ding, ding. When the sword chi stabbed Lu Ming's body, there was a piercing sound of metal clashing. Many of the sword chi were blocked. However, Lu Ming felt a sharp pain in his body as if he was being pricked by needles. Although most of the sword aura was blocked, a portion of it broke through Lu Ming's defense and pierced into his body. Lu Ming quickly activated the indestructible ancient scroll and recovered quickly. Fortunately, Lu Ming's physical body was extremely strong and his life force was exuberant. With the help of the indestructible ancient scroll, his injuries recovered very quickly. Bang, bang. Lu Ming took a few steps forward. However, the further he went, the more sword aura he encountered. More sword chi pierced into Lu Ming's body. His recovery speed could not keep up with the speed of his injuries. "My lord!" Lu Ming growled. His entire body was covered in a purple gold light. The power of domination covered his entire body. A series of concentrated sounds rang out, and the ruler's power trembled, but it wasn't pierced. The sword chi was blocked. The power of a ruler is indeed effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then he continued to stride forward. In less than a minute, Lu Ming had advanced more than 50 meters, far surpassing the previous 6 sages. So fast, what kind of power is this? It's so terrifying that it can block the attack of that sword chi. The number 1 heaven's pride in the heaven realm is indeed extraordinary and incomparable. The others sighed and hoped that Lu Ming would be able to make it. Right now, the heaven realm and the foreign kinds were at a life and death juncture. The stronger the heaven realm was, the more hope they had. Naturally, they hoped that Lu Ming would be able to walk over and gain something. Bang, bang. Lu Ming continued to move forward. 60 meters, 70 meters, 80 meters. Lu Ming moved forward 1 meter at a time. Very soon he had walked past 100 meters. However, at this point, the power of the formation was even more terrifying. The sword chi was endless and densely packed as it blasted towards Lu Ming. Chapter 2478 Statue containing the will of a ruler in front of Lu Ming. The sword chi increased in number and formed a wall of sword chi. It kept attacking him, trying to push him back. The nominator's power that enveloped Lu Ming's body was shaking more and more violently. There were even ripples in some places. At this rate, Lu Ming would not be able to hold on for long. There was still at least 100 meters ahead. Could it be that we're going to stop here? Lu Ming thought to himself and felt a little indignant. Although he did not know what was in front of him, or perhaps it would still be empty after he passed, Lu Ming was a little unwilling to leave without taking a look since he had already come this far. The Tao of domination rules over everything, including the power of heaven and earth. It's reasonable to say that it rules over everything in the world, including this sword chi. Many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Then his eyes lit up and he growled, "Get out of my way, my lord." He was using the Tao of Sovereign as a medium to control the sword chi through heaven and earth. Bush, bush. The sword chi flew at high speed, but when it got close to Lu Ming, it curved and flew past him. It's effective, it's really effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He then focused on controlling the way of domination and the sword aura. Indeed, when the sword chi neared Lu Ming, it would curve and fly past him. Lu Ming increased his speed and sped forward. This, heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others were dumbfounded. Bang, bang. Lu Ming's speed increased exponentially as he strode forward. Although there were more and more sword chi in front of him, none of them could hit Lu Ming. Very soon, Lu Ming had crossed the distance of more than 100 meters and passed through the formation. The Tao of a sovereign is truly profound. Can it really control all things in the world? That's truly terrifying. At the thought of this, Lu Ming was secretly delighted. This way, he could even control the enemy's attacks. For example, if the opponent's attack was about to hit him, He would control it and attack the enemy instead. What kind of scene would that be? However, Lu Ming also understood that this had something to do with one's cultivation and strength. If the sword formation was stronger, Lu Ming would not be able to control it. Similarly, if the opponent's combat strength was too strong, Lu Ming would also find it difficult to control. Everything was still related to his own strength. Everyone, Lu Ming will go to the front and take a look. Lu Ming said to 6 sages and the rest. Go, be careful. The celestial said. Lu Ming nodded and continued to move forward along the passageway. Not long after, they reached the end of the passage. At the end of the passage was a stone room. The stone room was empty. Lu Ming looked disappointed. It seemed that he would have to return empty-handed again. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's gaze was cast on a statue against the wall of the stone room. This statue was a young man. This person was very handsome and looked to be in his 20s. His hands were behind his back, and his eyes were like stars. He exuded a domineering, intent realm. That's right. It was the will of a ruler. It was very similar to the way of a ruler that Lu Ming had comprehended. How could this be? This intent is definitely the Tao of domination. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with shock. At this moment, he let his imagination run wild, and many thoughts flashed through his mind. Could it be that there was someone else in the world who had comprehended the Tao of a sovereign? He couldn't help but think back to when the foreign race's divine ancestor had seen his power and seemed to have recognized it. Also, the ancestral dragon recognized this power and called it ruler power. In the past, Lu Ming had thought that the power that he had comprehended was unique. This was because he had comprehended 10 ultimate laws and 71 king path laws before he could comprehend the ruler's path. Now, it seemed that it was possible that someone else had comprehended the Tao of a ruler. The owner of this statue must have also comprehended the Tao of a ruler, or else the ruler's intent wouldn't be so dense. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It wasn't a bad thing for him that someone else had comprehended the ruler's path. If he was the only one who had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he could only rely on himself to blindly explore. If someone else had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he would have a ready-made path to walk on. The will of a sovereign emanating from this statue will be of great use to me. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He immediately sat down cross-legged and controlled the way of a sovereign. The power of a sovereign spread toward the statue. Buzz. It seemed to have resonated with Lu Ming's Tao of domination. The statue shook slightly and a layer of purple-gold light emanated from it. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to see a young man with his hands behind his back. He was unparalleled in his style and he ruled the world. At this moment, Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master was slowly deepening. Just as Lu Ming was comprehending the ruler's Tao, outside the cursed land, King Feng Ming was standing guard with a group of people. He was waiting for Lu Ming to come out. At this moment, a middle-aged man flew over with a panicked expression. Country ruler, something bad has happened. The middle-aged man shouted anxiously from a distance. What's the matter? King Feng Ming frowned. Country ruler, the Yuan Hai country, the Great Yen country, and the Bright Moon country have joined forces and sent their armies to attack our Feng Ming country. We already have 18 cities that have been occupied by the other party. The middle-aged man reported. What? King Feng Ming turned pale with fright. How is that possible? These 3 countries all have enmity with each other. How could they join forces to attack my country of Feng Ming? King Feng Ming simply couldn't believe it. Report. At this moment, another burly man flew over. What is it? King Feng Ming said anxiously. Country ruler, the messengers from the Source Ocean country, the Bright Moon country, and the Great Yen country want to see you. The burly man reported. Meet him, quickly meet him. He's just outside the capital. King Feng Ming quickly said. Then he hurriedly brought his men back. 2 days later, Monarch Feng Ming met with the emissaries from the 3 kingdoms outside the capital. To his shock, King Feng Ming discovered that beside the 3 envoys, there were a few strange-looking people. These people all had 3 eyes. If Lu Ming was here, he would have known at a glance that these people were from the evil god race. The emissaries from the other nations were all followed by people from the evil god tribe. Furthermore, there was a 4-star heavenly emperor from the evil god tribe beside each emissary. Everyone, I wonder why you all want to join forces to attack my Feng Ming country? Asked King Feng Ming. In particular, the Bright Moon country, which had a good relationship with the Feng Ming country, had come to attack the Feng Ming country, which made him confused. We're just following orders. The envoy from the Bright Moon country said. Following orders? King Feng Ming was shocked. That's right. A lord from the Dragonman Empire has ordered your Feng Ming kingdom's cursed land to allow these outsiders to enter the cursed land. The envoy from the Mingyue kingdom pointed at the evil god race and said, You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.